Phil said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Produced by Matt Travis.
Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! I'm putting my heart up! Let's go, man!
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
Do we believe?
Second half, very happy.
Is vintage Matt Jones.
Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! 1, 2, 3! 1, 2, 3! Turn that down,
Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Before we get into anything else here on halftime today, as we start our week, start the real week, not one of these short weeks that we got to have fun with leading into Thanksgiving. And really, that was all the fun that we could have as far as sports was concerned. Well, you did have some good basketball, but when it comes down to what we're talking about, football, right? And that was a lot to forget Friday. Before we get into that, though, hello, Matt. And hello, Matt. How are you guys doing? How was your lengthy weekend?
Oh, it was fabulous, Phil.
Absolutely beautiful.
Good. It was lovely. Lovely. Outside of the outcome Friday.
That Michigan game was fun to watch, though.
Well, look, I mean,
but
the games
Arkansas,
were fun.
Yeah.
Arkansas-Mizzou was still a good game, but it was depressing. You're right, man. Ohio State, Michigan, that was awesome. That was I did not expect to see that. And certainly when I hear Blake Corum is going to try to play, I'm like, well, that's not even going to be very helpful for Michigan. And running back playing on one leg, but the deep passing game was good for them, and looks like Michigan is at least right now one of, can we say, 3 teams that are shoe-ins for the college football playoff? Georgia's in. I don't think no matter what happens in the SEC championship game, and good luck predicting which LSU team is going to show up for that. They're in. Michigan is in. I think you beat Ohio State in the horseshoe as badly as they did. Whatever happens in the Big Ten championship game, although they should roll over Purdue, Michigan, I think, is in. TCU, undefeated regular season, could do no worse than one loss to a good team in the Big 12 championship. TCU's probably in.
Who do they play?
It leaves one more spot. One more spot left here for the college football playoff. I got to double check. I know you asked that question.
I'll look at it because you got USC that's playing Utah, right? And everybody kind of thought that would be Oregon, and they kind of let it down. Can Utah beat USC? I wonder that one too. I haven't watched a lot of Utah football this year.
Well, I don't think I have either, but USC probably. I mean, the way that USC handled Notre Dame, I'd put them ahead. I'd put them ahead in what you expect in this game coming up next week. But yeah, I mean, it looks like three of them are shoe-ins, and nothing really feels like a shoe-in though when it comes right down to it with what happened last weekend in college football. Well, but I mean, it's an Arkansas show, right? It's K-State. We get a couple of folks texting.
And they beat them 38-28 earlier this year, so that they played each other this year. And then Tulane, who just beat Cincinnati, they beat Kansas State. But the fact that it was a 38-28 game tells me that it's a coin flip game, that either Kansas State could beat TCU.
Well, with all of that, it is an Arkansas-centric sports talk show. Football is the thing that drives the vehicle, and I mean, look what happened on Friday. Another failure in Columbia is really just I think the right way to put it. A failure in Columbia that ends a disappointing football season when it comes right down to it. And it's weird to think about Missouri and Arkansas finishing with identical records overall and in the SEC, and then Mizzou ends up with the upper hand and a little bit of a better feeling to the way their season ended. That team played better football as the season went along. They had a decent last month. Arkansas had a miserable last month. Miserable. The Ole Miss win was a mirage because when you look at the last 4 games, Arkansas was just physically dominated by 3 of the last 4 teams they played.
Ole Miss
Didn't
was the
expect
ghost
that was-
of themselves. Yeah, they didn't want to get hit. They weren't there. Yeah, you're right, Phil.
Well, and the LSU game, again, you don't know what LSU team is going to show up on a weekly basis. Did they take Arkansas seriously? I don't know. Did they take A&M seriously? I don't know how to answer that either. But they obviously come up with some big wins in big situations, but that one made no sense this last week. Maybe it does make sense because LSU laid an egg at Arkansas and still ended up with a close shave victory. But the Hogs got pushed around by Liberty, at least pushed around offensively by LSU. And then on both sides of the ball, it just wasn't a very pretty scene at, what do we call it, Memorial Stadium at 4-0 Field. You could just rename it the Hellhole in Columbia. Not just because it's not the nicest stadium in the world, but it's just a miserable place for the Razorbacks to ever show up and hope to win a football game. And I mean, there's a lot to get to as far as that game is concerned. The fact that Mizzou actually scored 29 points, play calling at the goal line, Arkansas can't score inside the 5, this and that. But right now, I mean, even though there's a bowl game, Matt, like the regular season's over. Whatever happens in the bowl game and whatever bowl game they're playing, I'm not really sure like what we would take from it because I just expect the team's going to look quite a bit different from what they looked like on Friday. I mean, in terms of personnel. Maybe even the coaching staff.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of start. So the bowl game is kind of building for next year. It seems like it. These kids nowadays, if they think they're going to, be a 6th-round draft pick, they're kind of opting out. It's just like it's weird the transfer portal and not staying the whole time. And a lot of kids think that I don't know what they think, but I guess you're just going to be building for next year. You're just going to be looking at the youth and seeing what we got. Is KJ going to play? What's he going to do?
I mean, that's one of the things we kind of wait to find out now, right?
But that offense, Phil, that offensive line, I think you're right. You look at that, and I was talking to my dad about the last month of the season. He's an old ball coach, and that Ole Miss game was a mirage. But what did that offense? It's like when Liberty whoops you, it's kind of. I didn't see him get a whole lot of push against Missouri either. I mean, the last month of the season, it's like they didn't get any better.
Well, then Liberty stunk for the rest of the month after beating the Razorbacks. They stunk. Again, things that don't make a lot of sense.
Ole Miss was 1-4 in their last 5, right? Like what happened there? It's just like what's going on?
Some teams just kind of limp to the finish line, and Arkansas last year sprinted to the finish line. I mean, they had a pretty darn good month of November. Maybe a little luck here and there, but wins is what we're looking at, and we can point to all the, all the statistics and where Arkansas finished in the rankings, and offensively they were really close to a lot of the numbers that they put up last year in terms of points and yardage, and
but that's the game now.
Conversions got better, and
yeah,
it is the game. Well, my whole thing here is all of that is secondary to the number of wins that you got to
put points on the board. Yeah, everybody's moving the ball around in the park. Everybody moves it up and down the field a little bit.
And points on the board when it matters.
Right.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
Got to be able to run the ball when it matters. When it's 1st and goal from the 4-yard line, we should be able to run the ball in. Like that should not be that. You should take pride in that. That should be a thing that and if the other team doesn't believe that you're going to run it in, then it's hard to call offense.
I mean, look, Arkansas did take a step back defensively this year, which is weird to say when you were 6th in the nation in sacks. Arkansas this year allowed – look, they were at times a big play defense. You're not going to finish 6th in the nation in
I thought they got better, Phil.
Sacks.
I thought the defense got better as the season went on. I thought they got healthy and got better. I don't know how good they were to begin with.
Well, maybe there's some validity to that. I just can't look. I mean, Missouri is not an offensive juggernaut or anything.
We made a lot of quarterbacks look good, didn't we? Like their quarterback looked good. What'd they say about Auburn? Their quarterback looked the best he had looked. The third, we did. You're right. We made a lot of quarterbacks had career days against Arkansas.
Third stringer for Liberty had a great game against the Razorbacks.
Yeah, I mean that's
a
wild.
guy that had started previous years. Look, but I mean he wasn't the starter right.
Well, they're
now.
all talented. Yeah.
Missouri, look, Mizzou is not a juggernaut. They scored 29 points against Arkansas. You know who else Mizzou scored 29 points against this year? Louisiana Tech, Abilene Christian, and New Mexico State. That's it. That's it. Against SEC teams, they averaged 19 points before scoring 29 against Arkansas. I will put that loss against Missouri on the Arkansas defense for just allowing 29 points to a miserable offensive team like Mizzou. That is not a good offensive team. Brady Cook, as loose as he was able to get through running the ball and as accurate as he looked off, throwing, I don't think he is a top half of the SEC quarterback, or maybe not even a top 2/3 SEC quarterback. Yet he had a great game against Arkansas. And look, they too many big plays allowed. Too many big plays allowed. It's not an offense that should be scoring 29 points against anybody. 17 points against Vanderbilt. 17 points against Kentucky. 27 points should have beaten Missouri. As badly as that game was called at times, and as poorly as Arkansas played offensively, they could not run the ball with any success. KJ also did not have his accuracy.
He missed some reads. KJ missed some reads in that read option play. There was three. I wrote there was at least 3 times he missed some big time. The running back would have hit his head on the goalpost. So that's just as important in passing the ball when you're running that read option. He missed a couple reads, but the good thing about Brady Cook is we get to play him again next year. So we'll see if he's gotten any better. He's just a sophomore.
Well, unless he puts himself in the transfer portal, but now he's.
So you wouldn't take him at Arkansas?
Well, if KJ's coming back, I'd take KJ over a lot of guys.
I like our quarterback. Yeah, I like KJ.
I like our quarterback a lot. Yeah, and keep in mind 2 games he wasn't even in this year, and yet Arkansas still had. A lot of the same season statistics they had last year offensively. Defense statistically certainly took a dive, and I think that was noticeable even if you don't look at the stats, you just watch the games. Missouri should not be scoring 29 points against anybody.
We missed some tackles. Right. Yep.
Yeah. Here's what we got going on today on Halftime. We've got Mike Irwin from Pig Trail Nation in the next segment. Conor O'Gara, Saturday Down South, hour number 3. Plenty of time for calls and texts throughout this 3-hour midday radio program. So we're calling it like a therapy Monday. Hey, we might have therapy all week long. Football therapy. You know why? Because basketball right now doesn't need the therapy, although they might have some anger issues here and there. Mike Irwin joining Halftime after this.
There's no place in the SEC that does it like this, where the home court advantage is so huge when the fans show up.
Number 1 environment in college basketball, no argument, Bud Walton.
I ain't never heard him get that loud. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Listen to every Razorback basketball game right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
What do you get when you pull into Tony's Tire Service? You get the best selection of tires for any car, truck, or commercial vehicle. Tony's Tire Service has Cooper tires and is ready to serve you to get you back on the road safely. They'll also get your vehicle fixed with brake replacements, plus an alignment with the best repair guy in the area. Tony's Tire Service has been serving the River Valley for over 34 years. Come let our guys replace your tires with Cooper tires and our service department to make sure the vehicle has the best brakes and alignments. Tony's Tire Service, 7200 South 28th Street in Fort Smith. Service you can depend on.
With everyday low prices on top brands, as well as our popular Ace Rewards card, locally owned Yeager's Hardware is committed to offering real service with real savings. Get these great deals at any of our 4 locations with your Ace Rewards card. DeWalt 20-volt max drill kit with bonus drill bit set, only $139. And Rayovac 30-pack double or AAA batteries are only $8.99. Yeager's Ace Hardware is your place for solo stoves, Traeger grills, and the Big Green Egg. Yeager's, offering real service with real savings.
Hell is a big enough problem on its own. Good Thing Dent Source, LLC is on the job, specializing in auto hell repair from personal vehicles to large fleet. Dent Source, LLC makes customers smile, one vehicle at a time. High insurance deductible? No problem. Dent Source, LLC will pay your deductible. Need a loaner vehicle during repair? No problem. Dent Source, LLC has free loaner vehicles. Stop by 2820 South Zero Street, across from Play It Again Sports, or call 479-337-4443. That's 479-337-4443. Dent Source LLC. No problem.
Whether you're fishing for cold water bass on Beaver Lake or Table Rock, or fishing for a trophy brown trout on the mighty White River, the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue will catch them. It has that famous rolling action whether it's fished extremely slow or worked fast in heavy current. This Rogue suspends, so it will stay in the strike zone longer, allowing you to catch more fish. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue.
Place. It's time to party. So come to the party place. Let's party.
Are you a qualified CDL driver with local or over-the-road experience? Tired of driving older equipment? Not having enough home time? Feel like a number? You need Patriot Transport. Patriot Transport, based in Centerville, with locations in Russellville and Van Buren, provides you with late model equipment, has a family atmosphere, and provides you the opportunity to make $95,000 per year. Patriot Transport works with you to get the miles you want and the family time you need. Change your life today. Visit PatriotTransport.com to apply. That's PatriotTransport.com.
Ride without compromise. CF Moto's brand new U-Force 1000 XL with 2 3-person bench seats to haul more rear ends as you haul butt. Auto Finders in Adventure, Oklahoma has the perfect CF Moto for any road you choose. Get some serious mud on the tires with aluminum rims, custom paint, power steering, and a 3,000-pound winch. No wonder the CF Moto is Auto Finders' best-kept dirty little secret. Ride without compromise at Auto Finders in Adventure, Oklahoma in Roland. Visit a complete list of inventories online at autofindersok.com. Your search ends here.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game.
ESPN 95.3.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
It's a Therapy Monday, guys, right? We're doing therapy. So Therapy Mike is with us. Mike Irwin from Pig Trail Nation to talk us through what happened Friday and some thoughts on the football season. Hey, you got basketball tonight, so we can move on for a couple of weeks, I guess. But Mike, this is, I mean, like I'm kind of like hanging by a thread, just waiting to see the first announcement and very lengthy post put out by somebody involving Arkansas football and social media, announcing that they love their time here and, God's plan and everything, but they're moving on to somewhere else. So I guess we can't necessarily move on until we start seeing everybody else start to move on. It's going to be a week like that, right?
Well, that's what we're being told, that there's going to be some shocking developments, some guys leaving that you wouldn't think would leave, but it's all part of some plan of bringing other people in. And until it plays out, I mean, we can sit around and worry about it and fans can talk about it, but you got to wait for the whole picture, I think, to react to individuals leaving without knowing in the end who comes in. It's just way too early to start evaluating that. We'll just have to see how it happens.
Well, let's just, we don't know who's going to leave or yet, but what does this team need to go out and try to get in the transfer portal? When you go 6-6, you need help in a lot of areas. So when they are trying to go out and get some pieces, what pieces do you think they're going to go get?
Well, obviously, I think they need to bring in at least one linebacker like they did last year, like a Drew Sanders. You've got one young guy, Paul, who's very solid and came on at the end of the year. I think you might look at another one. Maybe some help along the D-line. Obviously, they continue to need help in the secondary. I would be very shocked if they don't come up with and I've said this before, a backup quarterback who will play some. In other words, you're not coming here just to sit on the bench. This idea that if KJ comes back, maybe they don't need to play him every down because that's how you get beat up. Maybe it's the idea that he reduces the number of reps. As long as you can find somebody that comes in the game and things don't go backwards when that person comes in. So maybe they can find somebody like that. I think you'll see maybe a receiver come in, just things like that. Sam Pittman has said that he's got to do this. He doesn't want to do it. He'd rather develop freshmen, but the way the portal is right now, these things are instant fixes. When you bring somebody in out of the portal, you don't have to wait a year or two. If you get the right person, it's an instant fix. So I think that's what they'll be looking for, instant fixes at certain positions where they need help. And maybe, I don't know that you bring in an offensive lineman or two, but my view on the O-line, looking back on this whole year, is those guys were experienced and they were big, but I'm not sure how athletic some of those guys were. They really had problems with quicker defenses and dealing with some of that stuff. And I've had people tell me there were really good four-star people that, keep in mind, those guys were Morris's players, that Pittman has recruited some four-star offensive linemen that haven't been starting. So I don't know if some of them move up or if you try to go in and get a person or two like that. Without knowing what's out there in the portal, and it's not just what's out there, it's what you have a good indication they might be coming here. It's just all cloudy to me right now. I'm going to sit back and just wait and see what happens.
I would wonder, too, if it comes to the offensive line, if they might bring in a tackle or two, just for the reasons that you stated there. And, I mean, this is going to be the year that the offensive line gets rebuilt to a point in a way where it hadn't in the past couple of years. So, and we all expected that with Sam Pittman as the head coach at Arkansas, that the line of scrimmage would become a strength. And I think it was offensively last year, if not defensively all the time. And then this season, Mike, it was just sometimes it was, sometimes it wasn't. And I think you're right. Looking back on the teams they played this last month, and this is what we're going to remember, is the last month. Losing to Liberty, struggling to move the ball at all against LSU, a mirage against Ole Miss, and then what happened on Friday. Quick defensive lines, they gave Arkansas a lot of trouble. But then, they did get pushed around on Friday. I did see that. I mean, I don't know how many, what was it, 7 sacks from Missouri, Mike? KJ probably escaped another 4 or 5. It was that was the thing that really got to me. And the other aspect of Friday's game, Mike, is Mizzou shouldn't be scoring 29 points against anybody in the SEC. So it's just a lot to look at from Friday, unfortunately.
Well, again, I tend to be – I understand that Arkansas fans are going to look at every game insulated, isolated within that game. I watch the whole conference thing all year long, and I see trends. And what I see this year was one of the most bizarre overall SEC years I've seen in a long time. When have you seen a year in which the SEC West champion lost to the last place team in the West? But that's just what we just saw. What about Missouri? How did they come closer to beating Georgia than anybody else, but go to Auburn and lose to Auburn? It's been that way all year long with all of these teams. And Arkansas has been a part of that. They 3 2-point losses and a 3-point loss. It separates them from being 10-2 right now. And I'm not trying to say that that's an excuse, but it is reality. And Arkansas is not the only team that had these up and down wacko. How did you do this? But then you did that. It just happened to a lot of teams. And it occurs to me that the conference itself was a little more balanced than it's been in a long, long time. When was the year in which Vanderbilt could step up and beat a couple of teams they shouldn't beat? What about Tennessee that was just a few weeks ago, everybody's talking about they're going to win the national championship, and dude, they just kind of fall apart all of a sudden. It didn't just happen to Arkansas. It happened to a lot of teams. It's just that Razorback fans are still suffering from that Chad Morris into the Bielema era hangover, and they thought we were past all of this stuff, and then this jumps up, and the whole Missouri thing just annoys the fool out of people because the fans keep getting lectured by some people in the media about you don't take this seriously enough. You cannot convince Razorback fans to view Missouri as a rival. They are not to those fans. Texas gets them excited. Oklahoma, when they come into the league, will. They like playing LSU. They get excited about playing Alabama. They keep thinking this is the year we beat them. What about Missouri is supposed to excite you? If they were great, if they were winning 8, 9, 10 games a year, then you might get excited. But on the other hand, guys, why is Missouri excited? Are you kidding me? Drinkwitz is running around, jumping around at the end of the game like they just beat Georgia when they beat a 6-5 team. Is nobody in Missouri asking that question? Why are we getting excited about that? Arkansas wasn't world beaters this year. Why are you excited because you beat them? It's a bizarre type thing all the way around.
I honestly don't think the Missouri fans could care any less about the Battle Line rivalry. I think they care about it the same way Arkansas fans care about it. And to be honest,
you're right. It's their players.
Most fans in the stadium on Friday, Mike, looked like Razorback fans. I think they almost outnumbered the Mizzou fans. So neither fan base buys into it. Neither of them do.
It's just somehow the Missouri players, somehow they get them to buy into it. And I'm not one of them. I don't know what's said. Somebody tried to tell me that I didn't see this, that Drinkwitz blamed this on Chuck Barrett or something. Did he say something that fired up Missouri fans? I don't know. It's just weird. This whole thing is, why did their players think this is such a big game?
You ever been called out in the media like that by a coach, Mike? I thought that's so bizarre. It was so bizarre.
Well, he should have. He should have called me out because I've been calling him Dinkiewicz for 2 years. I'm offended that he wasn't mad at me. But I mean, it's just wacky. The whole thing is just, I don't know. I'm not one of their players, but if I'm a Missouri player, I'm sitting there thinking, why is my head coach trying to tell me this is the biggest game of the year? I would be fired up about playing Georgia. I'd be fired up about playing Tennessee. I'd be fired up against playing Georgia. Florida, those type teams, not Arkansas. It's okay, but they're a 6-5 football team.
Wherever you can find motivation, I don't. These kids these days, what are you going to do?
I don't know, Matt. Did anybody ever fire you up about Vanderbilt or somebody?
I never played Vanderbilt when I was there. We played them in basketball, and we got them in basketball. I was just ready to play, Mike. It didn't take a whole lot. We had Coach Nutt going to get you fired up. But I was ready.
Fire you up.
I was ready. I was always ready for game day.
I just again, somebody told me, Matt, you were there. I don't know if this story's true, that Jim Lindsey came in and tried to fire you guys up before that Texas game that year. And I was told the reaction after was, why does he need to fire us up? We're going to go down and play him. We'll beat him. I don't know that firing people up is the way this happens. I guess it somehow does at Missouri, but I agree with you. I think you just should always want to play. Go out there and bust your butt, and then you don't want to play. I mean, if you're going to go through all those workouts and all that off-season crud and everything, and you've got 12 games to play, to me, every one of them would be huge.
Right. Yeah. No, it was cool to see Jim and Jerry Jones, and that just kind of just added to it. But, yeah, you don't need any motivation to play Texas.
Mike, I got to ask you about basketball for a moment here. You saw the statement from Muss, which really, it caught me by surprise when it dropped in my email box yesterday. But then I keep thinking about it, and it's like, the Creighton game, it wasn't that he did anything in the Creighton game, but you could see the intensity and the the foot stomping and everything, and you play the very next day, and the emotions are running high. It's a program that I think he hates, and they feel the same way about him, and then whatever happened and all that. But is Eric Musselman too intense on the bench?
I don't think so. I like that. I think a lot of fans do. I did read some fans on Facebook saying, "Oh, that's not good." But the problem with that, guys, was that initial story came from a San Diego newspaper reporter, and he wrote it from their standpoint. Did he interview any Arkansas fans? Because I saw Arkansas fans coming on Twitter and saying I was a few feet away from all that. And that's what I'm telling you is they were cussing at him. They were yelling at him, and he turned around and did the L thing on his forehead and walked off. But that story was written as if he did all this other stuff, and then it got picked up by one Arkansas media person, then the New York Post got it, and they're all regurgitating what the San Diego guy wrote, and he wrote a one-sided story. Who went and interviewed Arkansas fans that were there? What really happened? First of all, I'm not sure, but the video didn't show anything that I saw that Musselman did. I'm not saying he didn't, but he ends up apologizing, which is okay. He did the politically correct thing to do, but I don't think people want to go back to losing basketball games and having someone, be really classy. Come on, get fired up, beat them. Their fans were I saw that one parent that jumped down there and was trying to go after him. I mean, that's kind of a bad deal. So there ought to be reaction to that, not whatever everybody was reacting to. The New York Post put this big picture that you didn't see the top of Musselman's hands, but it looked like he was shooting somebody the finger until you see the whole picture when you look at it, and it's him holding up two fingers during the game. So there was a lot of misleading stuff that got put out there.
Well, it was a heck of a great game to watch.
Yeah,
and really
awesome.
all the games they played there were entertaining, and now we get back to Troy and the other games of the non-conference schedule that just aren't quite as exciting. And honestly, I don't know too much about Troy basketball right now, but they're not what you played against in Maui, so it feels a bit like a come down.
Well, I've been watching some of these other SEC teams play these early games, and I'm telling you guys, based on what I'm seeing so far, it's going to be a brutal SEC schedule. I'm telling you, Tennessee is good, Mississippi State is good, Alabama is good, Kentucky's kind of struggling a little bit, but this is not going to be a cakewalk. It's going to be a battle every night, and you're going to need Bud Walton to be at its best, and I think that's what we'll have. I really look forward to seeing that place pretty much full and everybody understanding the importance of all these games. It won't just be Kentucky or somebody like that. There'll be some really good battles this year from teams that maybe you don't normally see that from. And again, if you have a balanced SEC, it's better overall to me, just like in football. I like it when you have a lot of teams showing ability to win certain games rather than just everybody falls over and lets Alabama run all over them. Alabama didn't have a great year, and nobody's even paying any attention to that. There's signs that football, it's equalizing a little bit, and maybe it's happening that way in basketball too, and I like it.
All right, Mike, we'll leave it there. Appreciate you. You're always hopping on with us on these Mondays. So next week, we'll have a lot more to react to, including wherever the Hogs are playing in a bowl game.
See you guys.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Matt.
Mike Irwin from Pig Trail Nation here on Halftime. Hey, you got some pretty severe weather coming around tomorrow, so may have those branches and limbs flying around. If you end up with some dents on your car, well, you need to get with Littleton's Paintless Dent Repair. That's Michael, his family, and his team in the community for over 30 years. And they're not one of these pop-up damage places that pack up and leave town right after they fix all of the dents from the previous storm. 10 days later, they remain in the area, always taking care of customers every day, every week, every month, and every year. That's Littleton's Paintless Dent Repair. Local and the name that you know and trust. Check them out on Facebook. Phone lines open 877-377-6963 on halftime.
Searching for a promising career change? Looking for an established company that pays competitively and values its team members? Then come be a part of the Beckert family. Beckert in Van Buren has immediate openings for production operators paying up to $29 an hour. Sundays are paid at time and a half, and night shift work has an added premium of $1 per hour. Applications are available 24/7 at Beckert, located off I-40 at Exit 3. Apply today.
Zelli Pasta is a family-owned shop at 809 East Emma Avenue, Unit D in Springdale, and they make all organic pasta with grains grown and milled in North America. Extruded through bronze dies, custom-made in Italy, which gives it texture allowing sauce to stick to the pasta. They have everything you need for perfect pasta at home, including fresh sauces. And you can pre-order lasagna and stuffed shells for pickup and enjoy homemade ravioli every Saturday. Join the Pasta Club for something new to try every month. Get delivery now. Log on to zellipasta.com. That's ZELLI pasta.com.
Up to $12,000 off on premium pre-owned vehicles at Harry Robinson's Salisal Ford. The biggest savings are right on the front row. The manager specials, huge variety, great selection, and even bigger savings with up to $12,000 off. Most of these vehicles still have factory warranty remaining, so you can buy with confidence. And nobody will pay more for your trade than Harry Robinson. Up to $12,000 off on pre-owned vehicles. Harry Robinson's Salisal Ford. 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisal.
Building a home can be stressful. This is true whether you're the homeowner or the contractor. Many times these issues result in a lawsuit. If you are a homeowner or a contractor and find yourself needing legal help, call the attorneys at Kevin Hickey Law Partner. With experience representing homeowners as well as non-payment or other issues that could arise during construction. Contact Brad Hull or Kevin Hickey at 479-434-2414 in the River Valley or 479-802-6560 in Northwest Arkansas. Or check them out at the web at artriallawyers.com.
Arts Barbecue and Burgers wants to help feed your family this holiday season. Have the pros at Arts smoke or deep fry your turkey or smoke your ham. Arts has affordable Thanksgiving packages available for any size family or crowd. Or drop your turkey or ham off and Arts will take it from there. Arts Barbecue and Burgers. Much more than their famous barbecue and burgers during the holiday season. From turkey to desserts, Arts Barbecue and Burgers. Next to Buddy's on Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Let Arts help you with your Thanksgiving spread.
When you need to customize your ride, whether for work or play, check out River Valley Truck Outfitters. Full line of LED lights for your headlights to work lights, B&W hitches, toolboxes, ladder racks for all your work needs or play, grill guards to full front bumper replacements, full line of WeatherTech and Husky floor mats. Let River Valley Truck Outfitters get your window tinting on. Best prices and quality in the Fort Smith area. River Valley Truck Outfitters can get your ride ready on Highway South 71 on top of Rye Hill. 648-8855. That's 648-8855.
Are you a qualified CDL driver with local or over-the-road experience? Tired of driving older equipment? Not having enough home time? Feel like a number? You need Patriot Transport. Patriot Transport, based in Centerville, with locations in Russellville and Van Buren, provides you with late model equipment, has a family atmosphere, and provides you the opportunity to make $95,000 per year. Patriot Transport works with you to get the miles you want and the family time you need. Change your life today. Visit patriottransport.com to apply. That's patriottransport.com.
When it comes to your vehicle dent repairs, you want a local professional that you can trust. Littleton's Paintless Dent Repair is your place. Michael, his family, and team have been in the community for over 30 years and are the best in the business. When all the other pop-up hail damage places have packed up and left town, Littleton's is still here taking care of your vehicle every day. Stay local. Stay with the best. Stay with the name you know and trust. Littleton's Paintless Dent Repair. Highway 112 off I-540 in Pensacola.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game.
ESPN 95.3.
Alley dances and the audience applauds. Though he's bathed in sweat, he hasn't lost his style. Alley, don't you go downtown. You gave away another round for free. Oh, me, I'm just another face at Zanzibar. But the waitress always serves a secret smile. Whoa, she's waiting out in Shantytown.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Give them a call or send them a text at 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
What just happened on my
Oh
TV
my
here?
goodness. Whoa.
Remember, you're a little in front of me as when World Cup soccer is on, so I'm about to see something pretty amazing.
One time goal. Yeah.
There it is.
That's sick.
There it is.
Casemiro. But the
Brazil.
setup, the three-play, ooh. They all know it, too. They're in the stand. They're like, oh, that was dirty.
Matt Jones is fixated on the World Cup, and we will be tomorrow as well. Hopefully the Americans get a win, and we can move on. Watching two ties, it's just not satisfying, to use a term the kids like to use these days. Charlie's, though, satisfying, and you can be satisfied by calling Halftime at 877-377-6963. Charlie, happy Monday. Are you satisfied?
I'm satisfied. I can't be as satisfying as you, though, Phil. I'm trying to get to your level at this point. How's everybody doing today?
I feel like $1 million bucks.
What's up?
Sun's out. Yeah, sun's out.
What's up, man?
World Cup game on the TV, doing radio. Don't have
beautiful
a holiday
day.
to prepare for.
It's a great day.
Basketball tonight.
It is a beautiful day, and it's almost like I went back. I thought about Friday's game in a sense. I was watching that game, and I don't know if you guys saw what I saw, but I mean, a lot of times you can say a team didn't show up and they weren't ready to play. I don't think that was the case for Arkansas Friday. I think they got their butts kicked physically. Now, Sam said it after the game, but they weren't ready to play against Liberty. Well, I mean, if you go back and you think about some of the games this year, they weren't ready to play against Missouri State. Got down 17-0. But I tell y'all what, if it wasn't for KJ and some of the plays he made, this game might have been even more one-sided because they were physically they were kicking our butt. I was watching the game, and I'm sitting there like, we can't get any push in the run game. We're a run-first team. And then when you're a team, Matt, I know you've been in the trenches, and if you're a team that relies on physicality and you're getting physically whipped like that, like the way they were, I thought this on both lines of the scrimmage. I just thought they were kicking our butts. And
well, how many times we run a screenplay? Think about you got to do other things to if they're whooping you and getting upfield, man. How many times we trying to run a little draw play and KJ did he missed, and I know you could see this better than I could with your view, but he missed about 3 reads in the run game that were just simple basic reads that if he gives it to the running back goes for 30.
Oh, I don't have the coach's view. I wish I could see it from behind, but I've always wished I could watch the game like that. But I just thought you're probably right. They just didn't play well, and they did get beat physically. But guys, I'm excited about this whole portal thing. I mean, I think people are looking at it negatively, and I'm going to take the positive approach because I think you look at it. You got to get better in this thing, and I know a lot of it has to do with NIL, and oh man. I know some teams have more money than others and all this and that, but, man, I'm excited about it. I hate that we lost Slusher. I hate that we're going to look, but at the end of the day, you got to move on. And that's just the way it is. I mean, it helped us last year. Look at Hazelwood, Sanders. I mean, you're going to lose some, you're going to gain some. I saw a tweet, the portal giveth, the portal taketh. So that's just the way it is nowadays. Guys, as far as this basketball team goes, is it just me, Phil? We've been watching this team, and I know Matt's watched it, and since Muss has been here, if you watch throughout the games, and also, with his adjustments and things of that nature, is it just me? Are we just a much better second-half team with Muss? I just see that trend, and I can't remember the first year as much, like his first year, but I know we get better as the game goes along. And, us being down 10-15, we're not out of it. I know a lot of people are like, this game's over at halftime, this and that. And I'm like, this game ain't over yet. I mean, we just get better as the game goes on. Is that something that you see too, Phil? And I'll hang up with you.
Yeah,
Thanks,
you
guys.
do. I think you do see that. I think with Eric Musselman, look, some coaches are good at assembling a group of talent. Some coaches are just good at communicating to fans, to their coaches, to their players, and some coaches are really good game coaches. I think Muss is all three. I think he does it all really well. And I mean, they're not just a good team, that gets better as the game goes on. They get better as the season goes on as well. So those little micro adjustments, there are some major adjustments in games that you make at halftime and things like that, but you also make changes like that, during the second half and everything. But they make adjustments throughout the season that lead to, at least the first 3 years, some real fire, going into the middle of January through the end of the season. I think that's a sign of a great coach. When your teams play their best, when they have to play their best, and I think under Muss they have at Arkansas, then you have a great coach. And we've seen that in baseball with Van Horn. Teams usually get a lot better as the season goes on, and then you end up with a run in the tournament. And we're seeing that with men's basketball as well. Let's go to Cody, who's on hold here. And Cody, good to have you here on Halftime. What's up?
Hey, hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving week with your families.
Thank you. You too.
I didn't see the kids until last night, but it was great anyway.
Yeah, I heard the post game. Your wife took the kids up there, right, Phil?
Yeah, that's
Your
the
ex-wife.
ex. But
That's
yeah,
one
we
way
get
to
along very
describe her.
well. That is one way. There are two very important letters in front of the word wife. We get along great. The only problem is she's a Mizzou fan, and my kids were wearing Razorback gear at the game because they know what's good for them. So they're Razorback fans, not Mizzou fans.
Right. Hey, and sorry about that, Phil. But hey,
No, that's all right. I didn't mean to make you. I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable about that. It's okay.
You did. It's okay. Hey, I was listening to what Charlie said. I don't disagree with him most of the time. I didn't think KJ played too well against Missouri, and I also noticed even more of a disparity between. He's a pretty good deep ball thrower, pretty good on like a little short slant, but that 10 to 15 yard, 20 yard throw, it's non-existent with Arkansas, and that's development from the OC. Man, football season, I'll give a quick rundown on what I believe because I don't care anymore, and that's sad to say. Barry Odom's defense, with everything he had to deal with, lost Fouché and Brooks. They had been on the defensive side 2 to 3 years. Slusher was out 2 games before he left this last game. You lost Catalan. Both your safeties are out. Bumper Poole missed the last game of the season. From week 2 or 3, Barry Odom never had his full defense. And McAdoo didn't emerge until the end of the season. McLaughlin played well, but he definitely picked it up towards the end of the season. Barry Odom, in my eyes, he's a blessing. Without him, who knows what it could have been. It could have been much worse. And people need to understand how talented he is. And, Matt, I hope you speak to that at some point because I believe Barry Odom's good. And I know X's and O's, he's not great.
I want him to stay here. I'm a Barry Odom fan. If we lose an OC, I want Barry Odom to stay.
Right. That's where I'm at. But the OC situation, I think Kendall Browse, if KJ stays, maybe you keep Kendall Browse here just because of that reason. But you do like an LSU situation where maybe in the red zone, Loggins gets to call a couple plays. Because the red zone efficiency is terrible. If you put up a grade sheet and you look at how the season progressed throughout the year, the offensive line and the offensive side of the football in the red zone in times that matter went completely downhill. They became so like you could tell what was coming. I mean, it was terrible. There was no back shoulder throw in the offseason, Matt. Maybe go up there to practice a couple times and show KJ how to throw a back shoulder pylon throw. Not to be rude.
They don't
but maybe
care.
you
They
go
don't
up there
care
and just
about
make sure
what I
they're
say.
practicing that.
They don't. Yeah, they don't. They don't.
A couple of those
They got.
Hey, Cody, we're right up against the break.
I know what you mean, though. Yeah.
Right,
Cody,
bye.
we're right up against the break, so we'll have to leave it there. But we'll look forward to hearing from you again later on in the week because we always will. 877-377-6963. We'll close out the hour with a couple of phone calls after this.
Hospital for nerves and then they had to commit me. You told them all I was crazy. They cut off my legs, now I'm an amputee. I'm not sick, but I'm not well. And I'm so hard, 'cause I'm in hell.
Well, the temperature temperature has changed, and I kind of like this. Not one that enjoys sweating. One of the things that you'll find out whenever you come to Randall Ford at 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, you won't have to sweat the details. We'll take care of all of them. From your trade-in, giving you the most money, to making sure that vehicle is checked out and been through our service department and met that 140-point service inspection, to even the detail. All of our guys in our detail bay are certified nationally. So from front to back, this is a complete dealership at Randall Ford. You know, they are the fourth oldest Ford dealership in America, and we're ready to serve you, whatever you're looking for. If you're looking for GMCs, if you're looking for Dodge, if you're looking for Toyota, if you're looking for Subarus, if you're looking for Ford F-150s, no matter what you're looking for, chances are we'll have it. Over 220 vehicles in stock and ready for you today at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
Frank Rowe Furniture is your family-owned furniture, appliance, and electronics store. We have been servicing the area for 38 years with quality products and service after the sale. Frank Rowe Furniture offers a no-pressure sales atmosphere where you can actually enjoy shopping for your furniture. We also offer in-store, no-credit check financing. Don't wait weeks to be able to take your furniture you purchase home. Stop by and we will load you up today. Family-owned, service after the sale, and no-credit check financing. Frank Rowe Furniture, 405 4th Street, Marlin, Arkansas. Best seats in the house.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Drs. Sparkman, Nanda, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Get the best value, service, and TV locally with personal service from WOW World of Wireless, your neighborhood professional Dish authorized retailer. Stop in and ask us about the Hopper 3, Dish's most advanced DVR that delivers a premium viewing experience. Tired of running out of DVR space? With the Hopper 3, you can record up to 2,000 hours of your favorite programming and watch your very own favorite channels and DVR recordings anywhere you go on your phone or tablet. Call now. WOW World of Wireless. 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474 for more details. Or online at shopwownow.com. World of Wireless is located at 601 Church Street in Barling next to Frank Rowe Furniture. That's 601 Church Street in Barling. Come see us at our new location.
Monthly equipment fees and other restrictions apply. Recording hours vary. 2,000 hours based on SD programming. Remote viewing requires internet connection and compatible mobile device.
Have you recently experienced possible hail damage to your roof? Is it just time to replace the one you currently have? Brothers Roofing and Restoration is a properly licensed and insured local roofing contractor in Arkansas. Brother Alexander has over 25 years of experience in home insurance and adjusting and residential roofing. Brothers Roofing Crew has 17 years of experience themselves. He provides free estimates with the most competitive pricing in the area while using the industry's best materials. So call 479-353-3877 to arrange a time for Brother to inspect your roof.
Watch every Hog game this season at Joe's Grill and Cantina, your home for half-price apps and taps during every Hog game. With TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat for all the action. Half-price appetizers like Joe's Sampler Platter, Ballpark Nachos, 10-layer dip, brisket nachos, and Mexican pizza. And ask about Joe's tailgate packages to make your football experience even better in the comfort of your home. Half-price apps and taps for every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game.
ESPN 95.3.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
We'd be remiss if we didn't wish a happy 61st birthday to Sam Pittman today. I hope I hope somebody brings him a cake inside the Smith Center, because it sounds like there's a lot of exit interviews going on from everything that he told us. All right, we got Wade and Branch on hold. Hey, Wade, thank you for holding through the break. Got a couple of minutes here before the top of the hour, and how are you today?
I'm doing good, Bill. Have you guys had a good holiday?
It was excellent.
Yeah, holiday was great, but it's over now.
Yes,
now
sir.
It's 5-day work week.
Every day's a holiday at ESPN Arkansas.
Well, we still got we still got Christmas to go. But anyway,
And Hanukkah.
That's a Doug Lemon song. Every day's a holiday.
Anyway, getting back to the Razorback football team, hey, I pray that we keep the coaching staff that we got next year. I don't know if we will keep them, but I still think they're awesome. And we've had a few lumps and bruises and bad breaks. But anyway, the main thing I'm talking about is Eric Musselman. And I got so mad, and I'm fired up about this. He got, on the San Diego State game, he got heckled by Arizona State, or San Diego State, excuse me, after the game, in which they won the game, and they were hacked off because they lost. And that's why he turned around and maybe he shouldn't have done the L thing, but still, he's a fiery coach. I just love the man to death, and I think that's what we need to pull us over the top in the SEC. He's a great coach. He's an
Should he have just pointed to the scoreboard then? If you can't do that, if we're really going to be mad at a coach for showing the L, can he at least point at the scoreboard then when you win?
You can make an L and point to the scoreboard all in the same motion.
I don't think
these things do work.
I mean, that's the
Wade, it's good to hear from you,
anyway,
man. Thank you for the phone call. 877-377-6963 as we move into the second hour. I mean, there is a history with San Diego State and Eric Musselman.
Yes.
Going back to his days at Nevada. They don't like each other.
He's whooped him. He's shown him the L a lot. That train comes through regularly. You know what I mean?
There might have been a word or two thrown out there that are a little choice and might also, get you in trouble in certain circumstances.
The must buzz.
Those are not the two. They're words we wouldn't be allowed to say on the air, but we could say to each other during the commercial break right through these microphones. But I think we'll hold off on that as well. We're into the second hour of halftime after this.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin Tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin Tires to keep you rolling. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
We've invented a new messaging system using the crisp sounds of Bud Light. Crisp Code, Lesson 86. This is how you say, gee willikers, it's a hot one. Let's cool down with some Bud Lights. And that's it for today. Bud Light. Crisp. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hardee's new Charbroil Double Deals, starting at $2.99 each, have the Academy for New Offerings hailing this double cheeseburger deal as very new indeed. How much more new does it get than the new Bacon Double Cheeseburger and the new California Classic Double Cheeseburger? Not much newer than that. Well, I've got news for the Academy. After this, I'm getting myself a double cheeseburger from this new deal. The new Charbroil Double Deal, starting at $2.99 each at Hardee's. Feed your happy. Tax not included for a limited time. Price and participation may vary. Visit restaurant or app for details.
Chuck Barrett here. I know a thing or two about making great calls in Arkansas. And when it comes to your home service needs, make the call to Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. Paschal offers plumbing services from simple drain repairs to running all new lines. And right now, you can replace your water heater with a professionally installed system from Paschal. Take $150 off a new traditional water heater or $300 off a tankless system. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. Arkansas owned. Arkansas operated. GoPaschal.com.
State sales tax paid on every pre-owned vehicle on the lot now through the end of the month at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. You heard right. State sales tax paid on pre-owned vehicles at Harry Robinson. You'll save hundreds, even thousands with sales tax paid. This sale does not apply to previously negotiated deals. Don't miss your chance to get your state sales tax paid now through the end of the month on every pre-owned vehicle on the lot. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 at Fort Smith.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, plenty of sunshine. Temperatures will be falling through the 50s. We'll end up with overnight lows in the upper 40s with a partly to mostly cloudy sky. Chance of a few showers, a few thunderstorms on Tuesday. Our high will be right around the mid-60s. And then we're expecting to see some drier weather on Wednesday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Tally at the 40, midfield, at the UCF 40, the 30, Tally at the 20, the 10, the 5, touchdown Arkansas!
ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
It's fast. It's exciting.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Busch Light Studios on ESPN 95.3.
Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Matt Jones may take it to the house and the dunk.
Phil said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Produced by Matt Travis.
Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! I'm putting my heart up. Let's go, man!
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
Do we believe?
Second half, very happy.
Is vintage Matt Jones.
Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! On three! 1, 2, 3! Turn that down,
Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
All right, so here's one way to maybe get a look at a theory that you hear thrown out there about why there are uneven performances in the last week of the football season or whenever somebody decides that their time in wherever it is that they're playing is over. Dominic Lovett at the wide receiver caught 6 balls for 130 yards for Mizzou Friday against the Razorbacks. He just announced he's going into the transfer portal. He had himself a nice little game on Friday.
He was auditioning, right?
Yeah, didn't seem like it was stuck in the back of his mind that wherever he's going next, he put on a display. So
let's go get him. Yeah,
you want to go get somebody like that? Good receiver.
And we talked about
6 catches, 846 receiving yards. That's third in the SEC, and it's also behind a team that doesn't necessarily throw the ball around a ton.
Well, I mean, you see him on film, and we talk about that earlier, and I was asking about some guys that they say that, they don't want to be there or whatever, but it's just another opportunity to go out there and showcase your talent. And if you really are serious about going somewhere else to play, maybe he wants to go maybe he's good enough to go somewhere and try to win a national championship. Because you're not going to win one of those at Missouri. I mean, you can beat Arkansas 7 out of 10 times, but you probably won't win a national title.
That's a good point. And to those who are asking about updates for anybody that's announced they're leaving Arkansas right now, we don't have them yet. It doesn't look like anybody is necessarily announced quite yet. Although, when did Slusher put his tweet out? I know that he already knew he was gone. So, but that's one thing I don't get. So you have this kid.
Did he not transfer in last year though, Slusher, or was he been here?
No, he joined Arkansas as a freshman.
He
chose Arkansas over, I think it was Oklahoma, a kid from Tulsa. I mean, it really does look like he may end up going to Oklahoma if he's a kid from Tulsa. And when he was healthy and he was on the field, he was good for the Razorbacks this year. But we don't know what the conversation with Slusher and Pittman was like. Pittman said, I think Monday in the press conference, that they had spoken Sunday. And then the word quit was thrown out there for Slusher by the UA and by Pittman, and Slusher disputes that he quit. But, I mean, something's lost in the translation here, because you have a kid in Lovett who obviously knew going into Arkansas week that he's not going to be at Mizzou next year. Yet he goes out and plays and has a great game, and Slusher did not suit up, and he was, joking, messing around in Tulsa, I guess, on Wednesday from his Instagram post.
Do you not make a commitment to your teammates whenever, you start a season and you're like, look, we're gonna go through this season, and I get opting out of a bowl game, but I'm talking about the regular season. If you're healthy and able to play, if I'm a head coach somewhere or looking around for play, and I know kids or whatever, you want somebody to come help your team or whatever, but I'd wonder, like, why are you quitting on your team that you got one more regular season game left? If you're injured, that's a totally different thing. But if you're capable of playing, I mean, you just quit on your brothers. I don't know. It just seems weird.
Yeah, and he'd gone out and I think he played pretty well against Ole Miss. But
we could have used him. I mean, we couldn't tackle.
Yeah.
We missed. I mean, talk about we look like we were back in week 3 this year, Phil, with the way we were trying to tackle, not breaking down and lunging. I mean, it just missed tackles after missed tackle.
Mizzou averaged, look, you play 8 SEC games. In the 7 other SEC games, Mizzou averaged a little less than 3.5 yards per carry. Against the Razorbacks, they averaged a little less than 6 yards per carry. They gained about 2.5 yards more per carry against Arkansas than they did in their other 7 SEC games. And that's just running the ball. I mean, their passing numbers were about the same, but their running numbers were off the charts comparatively to every other team they played against in the Southeastern Conference.
And Phil, I think you made this point earlier in the first hour. You have to be better situational, whether it's third down and offense and defense. You know, you're getting the ball going on each side, whatever we're doing as far as moving the ball up and down the field. But it really comes down to when are you going to score the points when it matters? You know, when are you going to make the play when it's not about all the fluff yards. It's not about all the, whatever you're doing. But it's like, hey, man, this is 3rd and 7. We got to get this first down. These are the plays that we didn't make this year. That's the thing that I guess you could say it in last year. And I don't know if it's just as simple as losing that receiver, losing our Traylon Burks, that where you just had him and he would make play after play, and if it just helps, if that's how simple it was. But we didn't make those plays this year.
Well, really the difference offensively was an inability to score when you got inside the 10 or inside the 5-yard line, or right up at the goal line. It wasn't just Mizzou. It was Liberty, the 2-point conversion. It was A&M.
Yeah.
It was LSU. I mean,
what's that? That's 7 points. Those 3 games, though. Liberty. Well, if you throw in LSU too, huh? Yeah.
And A&M. And there was a fumble at the goal line against Missouri State. So I mean, we can take all these numbers and say yes, the offense at least worked their way yardage-wise to almost exactly where they were last year, and the points were about the same too. But it's all in the context of the game you're playing. And they were deficient at the goal line. You score against A&M at the goal line, you win that game. You find a way to get that 2-point conversion in against Liberty, and there were so many other things that happened in that game negatively. Who knows what happens in overtime?
And that bad start, and the first 8 possessions we didn't score any points against Liberty. Yeah, that was just, man, what a fluke game.
The number of points scored by the Arkansas offense this year, to me, doesn't necessarily. They should have scored more off of the yards that they gained. But here's a really interesting number, 2 numbers. And this is about perfect for a 6-6 team. Even Steven. You guys remember that Seinfeld episode?
Even Steven. Oh, here, give me $20. We could have just thrown
Throw
a
it
pencil.
Out the window.
Yeah,
That's right. I knew you would remember some lines from that one. But this is how even Steven Arkansas was. And I'm going to go a little against the idea of the – looking at the full season stats and everything. But this is good. I mean, how often does a football team play throughout the entire regular season and have a yard difference in the number of yards that the team gained and the number of yards that they allowed? Opponents this year gained 5,444 yards against Arkansas. The Hogs gained 1 more yard than they gave up for the year, 5,445. So that's like for a 6-6 team, isn't that just perfect to have almost the exact amount of yards gained as yards allowed? Hogs did score a few more points than they allowed this season, but I think you'd probably be hard-pressed to find after 12 games too many teams that have had 1 yard difference in the number gained and the number allowed. And also it's like for a defense that got into the backfield a lot. Arkansas did get into the backfield a lot. 6th in the nation, 39 sacks. They also allowed 31. Think about this, Matt. 31 sacks allowed in 12 games, and yet KJ Jefferson probably escaped. And remember, he only played in 10. But how many times did he escape Missouri's pass rush on Friday? How many times did he escape
both quarterbacks
against Liberty? Yeah.
against Missouri. But you're right. No, KJ, he did escape, and he'd have to do. But I had a coach. He was talking about one of his older teams, and he said, "Man, it seemed our best plays was when our quarterback had to escape pressure and make something happen." And he's like, "We went 6-6 that year, because it's like you got to have your consistency. Yeah, it looks cool, and it is good to be able to put on a one-man show, but you got to have teammates and you got to have help." And I think maybe that's a little bit too, Phil. He missed some of those reads. He might have been pressing a little bit because he had some easy give reads to the running back, and maybe he doesn't get to read it. So maybe you got to wonder how that play's called. But there was definitely some yardage we left on the table this last game.
877-377-6963 for any calls or texts and anything you want to talk about, football, basketball, what have you, and the World Cup as well. Chris asks about the exit interviews. Are they players only, or are they showing some coaches the door? That's a good question. You've already had Jamil Walker shown the door Saturday, strength and conditioning. I don't find that to be a head scratcher, and I don't think they're making Jamil Walker the scapegoat for a loss to Missouri. But the writing was on the wall. I mean, when the team got physically dominated like they did, especially at the line of scrimmage throughout this last month, that kind of does go to, offensive line coach and strength and conditioning. So I would imagine that there are, I don't know, some of these are interviews with the coaches too, but these guys are having conversations on a day-by-day basis. It's a little different than, I think, the way that they communicate with the players in some ways.
You have to, Phil. Like, we had a great strength and conditioning coach when I was there, Don Decker, and you have to have that back-and-forth communication because as players everybody's coached a little bit different. Our bodies are all just a little bit different. They can't do the exact same exercise or however you got to do. But the main thing the strength and conditioning coach has to do, you got to be able to play on Saturday. He has to get you ready to play on Saturdays.
Another text in here saying Tuna was right. You got pushed around. This is a Missouri fan because he's saying you got pushed around. Better hope you don't get Illinois. Rhett in Missouri. Hey, I don't think there's anybody that watched that game on Friday that wouldn't say that the Razorbacks did not get pushed around, because they absolutely did. And JT, here in the yardage stats, does that mean we were good or bad on offense, and were we good or bad on defense? I think you were mediocre both ways. 6-6. 6-6. That is the definition of mediocre.
Come
not
see,
bad.
come saw. That's it. It's the only thing I learned in French class.
And Matt's dropping French here on halftime. Just going to let that sit in for just a moment and remind you about the Fence Man. When it's time for gates, fence repairs at your house, the Fence Man is the only place to call. And they do it all, the large commercial jobs and the small residential repairs. They can help you with a vinyl fence. They can help you with custom wrought iron fencing, wood privacy fence, or residential chain link, or commercial chain link. And their number is 479-782-3936. That's the Fence Man. Make sure to ask about 18-month, same as cash financing, because if it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. He ain't afraid of no work. Halftime back. Quick break right here.
Arkansas, will you make the Final Four? In them wacky uniforms with the pigs with horns. And did I hear you say you were playing a game today with the home crowd yelling, woo, pig suey? Hey, those pigs may be hogs, but they're kosher to me. Capiche?
Listen to every Razorback basketball game right here on ESPN 95.3.
Arkansas wins the national championship!
Up to $12,000 off on premium pre-owned vehicles at Harry Robinson's Salisal Ford. The biggest savings are right on the front row. The manager specials, huge variety, great selection, and even bigger savings with up to $12,000 off. Most of these vehicles still have factory warranty remaining, so you can buy with confidence. And nobody will pay more for your trade than Harry Robinson. Up to $12,000 off on pre-owned vehicles. Harry Robinson's Salisal Ford. 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisal.
Gray Brothers Equipment understands the importance of your hay crop, and they're ready to help with quality Kubota products like Kubota rotary disc mowers, Kubota brand wheel hay rakes, And BV round balers attached to Kubota's M-Series cab tractor. Together, Kubota and Gray Brothers will make your hay days fun again. That's Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Poto, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a lemon.
This is Northside head football coach, Coach Felix Curry. I call 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
This is Northside head basketball coach, Eric Burnett. I call 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
Football in fall, what a great time of the year. It's also a great time to take advantage of York factory rebates on high-efficiency HVAC products. Give us a call at 782-8940.
That's 782-8940.
If you're particular about your lawn, when nothing else matters except those perfectly cut stripes, that is your defining moment when you know you want a Skag zero-turn mower. Simply the best, hands down. When no other mower will cut it, stop by Alma Tractor and Equipment in Alma and pick out your new Skag zero-turn mower and be the envy of your neighborhood. Come by today to see the full lineup of Skag zero-turn mowers at Alma Tractor and Equipment in Alma.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. Our #1 volume lure out of our 20 fishing brands is the Bobby Garland Baby Shad. We make them by the millions in our facility in Fort Smith, and the Baby Shad is without a doubt the #1 soft plastic crappie lure in the U.S. Fish it on a light jig head or underneath a float, and you'll find it's as productive as live bait. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Bobby Garland Baby Shad.
Hardee's new Charbroiled Double Deals, starting at $2.99 each, have the Academy for new offerings hailing this double cheeseburger deal as very new indeed. How much more new does it get than the new Bacon Double Cheeseburger and the new California Classic Double Cheeseburger? Not much newer than that. Well, I've got news for the Academy. After this, I'm getting myself a double cheeseburger from this new deal. The new Charbroiled Double Deal, starting at $2.99 each at Hardee's. Feed your happy. Tax not included for a limited time. Price and participation may vary. Visit restaurant or app for details.
Have you recently experienced possible hail damage to your roof? Is it just time to replace the one you currently have? Brothers Roofing and Restoration is a properly licensed and insured local roofing contractor in Arkansas. Brother Alexander has over 25 years of experience in home insurance and adjusting and residential roofing. Brothers Roofing Crew has 17 years of experience themselves. He provides free estimates with the most competitive pricing in the area while using the industry's best materials. So call 479-353-3877 to arrange a time for Brother to inspect your roof.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey! When I was a little bitty baby, my mama would rock me in the cradle in them old cotton field back home. It was down in Louisiana, just about a mile from Texarkana, in them old cotton field back home.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Well, let's see. Who are you going to play in a bowl game? I think Arkansas is going to get Oklahoma. You're going to end up playing a Big 12 team. It's going to be either the Texas Bowl or the Liberty Bowl. And just looking at the teams out of the Big 12 that had mediocre seasons too, Baylor, Oklahoma, Kansas. I hope it's not Kansas. I don't really think that'll be all that much fun. Oklahoma, do it. It's the team Arkansas. I bet you're going to end up playing Oklahoma on an annual basis anyway. Right next door. We got our stations get into Oklahoma in a couple of cases for sure.
I could get
let's
down with
this
Baylor.
Arkansas OU thing going
You
on.
like
It would be
OU?
about the same. Well, do I like OU?
Well, for our bowl games, what I'm saying, do we like?
Oh, I love it.
I could get down with the Baylor game too. OU or Baylor, I think would be okay as far as we talked about being regional and with recruiting last week. And if we were to play in the Vegas Bowl against a Pac-12 school, you know, how much does that matter anymore? But don't you think, as far as for crowds and for excitement, Baylor or Oklahoma game would probably be a good matchup?
I like the idea of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Baylor's fine. I mean, whatever. That'd be a good program to play too. But I think it'll be OU. Plus, I mean, you're already playing Oklahoma in men's basketball later this month, so let's do it twice.
We recruit.
One that's
yeah.
Well, you do recruit.
We recruit Oklahoma. Yeah, they have some good talent there.
Liberty Bowl, Texas Bowl, either one of them, I think, is what it comes down to. All right, Mike Irwin brought this up earlier in the show, and I heard Chuck talking about it on the Morning Rush a little bit today. I was blown away that Eli Drinkwitz called Chuck out. I don't know if it was on their on the Mizzou radio broadcast or if it was on the CBS postgame, but I just found that so bizarre. Like I haven't texted Chuck about this, but we can bring it up tomorrow. It's like, congratulations, man. I mean, you know you've made the big time when there are millionaires literally calling you out on on national television or
What'd he say?
Or on the broadcast. He said, if anybody sees Chuck Barrett, ask him what he thinks of our trenches now, or something like that. Something like that. And here's the weird thing about it. Like I saw what and I don't remember which sports writer, kind of cherry picked or whatever they were listening to. It must have been on this station, or Chuck was on some, or was on Give Me the Hogs, Chuck, or something like that. But I don't think Chuck said anything about the trenches for Mizzou and their trench plague. To be honest, I mean, when it came down to him talking about this year's Missouri football team, I remember him, look, this team can flat out play defense, and that they were a lot better than he thought they were in September, when flatly they were not a good team. I remember him, and these are the things about Missouri. Like, you can separate the team from everything else over there. I think what Chuck was hitting on was the facilities suck, and they do. They just do. And the fan support is dull. It just is. If you're at the game on Friday, for crying out loud.
Did that affect Arkansas, you think, at all, Phil? And I was going to text you that when I was talking about kind of the atmosphere. Is like, do you think it affects the road team just as much when there's not really like a pop in the air?
I don't know. I mean, I would think you'd look around and be like, hey, man, we've got as many fans as they do here today.
Yeah.
And be a little bit fired up about that.
But if everybody's sitting on their hands, it's tough sometimes as players when it's cold out there. You're not really like it. Kind of just. I know it's kind of a. I mean, you should be out there and play the game, but the warm, the warm fuzzies that happen, the fans. That's why being at home and playing in Bud Walton or playing in Little Rock, playing with the fans, it does help with the excitement. It does help with the players get going. Sometimes you kind of just going through the motions a little bit.
Well, it felt like their fans went through a lot of the motions, and the whole point of I think what Chuck was saying, and I echo these sentiments about Missouri. Like, the reason that they don't come across as being the quote unquote serious SEC program is because the facilities look like they do, and there's not many improvements made to it. Like, I know they put in a new video board for football, and I think executed a construction in one of the end zones. I think it was the south end zone, but that still didn't make it look like a big time college football stadium. Their basketball arena is great. I love Mizzou Arena. The baseball field is the worst in the Southeastern Conference by far.
That field looks like something to be desired, Phil. I wouldn't want to play on that football field. Like, it's that turf that was going on. It just looked like they were a Division II program type deal. Yeah, it did not look like, hey, this is SEC Division I first class. It didn't. I didn't get that picture, but you were there. Yeah.
But but in this case, it's like, so the team itself, I mean, they're fine in the SEC. They're not some juggernaut. They got 2 division championships, and Arkansas doesn't. In these last however many years it's been. But so I mean, the team itself is fine as far as the SEC is concerned. They're comme ci comme ça on almost an annual basis. Just look back to even when Odom was the coach there. They're about a 50-50 program. Arkansas's football team, belongs in the SEC. The facility, this is, I think, one of the issues that you might have as far as football is concerned. You have some of the best facilities in the country, I think, for all the sports. The football stadium is going to be smaller than some of the others just because the locker room, practice facilities, all of that, second to none. and yet still you end up with a mediocre season, while the other programs that have the best of whatever it is, they make it to the Elite Eight or go to Omaha or consistently compete to make it to Oklahoma City in softball. And soccer is still knocking at the door to the Final Four, but, man, they're in the Elite Eight like every year. All of these programs compete at a national level that football has not. And so there is some of the frustration that comes right down to it. And JT hits on it with a text here, Matt. Their football program is superior to Arkansas's football program because they've beaten Arkansas 7 of the last 8 years. That's all you need to know. I mean, if we're going to say must, point at scoreboard with the L, right? Well,
that's it.
Point at the scoreboard.
That's what it all comes down to. When what we're all doing with this, I mean, it comes down to who can point to the scoreboard, who handed out the nail. That's what we're out there trying to do and trying to compete. That's the beauty of it. That's why it's so awesome. I mean, it's the competition is amazing, and to be able to compete at that level and to hand out L's, I mean, that should be enough right there.
Agreed. 877-377-6963. Yeah, I mean, what Chuck said is he didn't like Missouri, and he doesn't care for their program.
Chuck
he said things about their facilities.
Backs don't care about your feelings?
About the town. Yeah. Right. I don't remember him saying anything about the trenches.
Yeah.
But I do think there's got to be a thing. I mean, Eli is a native Arkansan. I mean, he's from Alma, right? It's not too far from where Chuck's from, and I think Eli grew up.
They might have played against each other. Clarksville, Alma.
Well, I don't think they played against each other. I think he heard some things either growing up here in the state on the sports talk show that Chuck hosted, or there might have been some things that were said about.
Could have been 7 years ago. Yeah,
a very specific, certain mentor of Eli's that could have been said too that he's been holding receipts on for a long, long time. So he's also I think he's a little bit weird. And they
made a bowl game, right? Maybe they were celebrating for that.
I think it was a celebrating that felt a little odd because I've never heard a radio announcer for one of the teams called out by the other coach. So it's all right. Congratulations, Chuck. You made it. You made it a long time ago, but you made it right then and there. All right, we're going to get out of football in just a moment because you got basketball tonight, and women's basketball is undefeated, and it ain't all doom and gloom in Arkansas athletics, that's for certain. So we'll touch on some fun basketball stuff after the break. 877-377-6963. Halftime is right back.
Got my tent, my sleeping bag, and my snack bag.
Are you going camping?
No, I'm getting ready for Black Friday. I have to camp out early and be the first one in line for the deals. This year, I'm going for a car.
No, you're doing it all wrong. You just need to go to RedRiverDodge.com. They're having a Black Friday sales event all month long.
Wait, all month long? They're having Black Friday deals?
Yep, deals on all new Ram, Dodge, Chrysler, and Jeep products.
Look here, it says they will deliver right to my driveway.
Well, as the saying goes, at Red River, we deliver.
Joe Klein here for Bet Saracen, Arkansas's favorite sports betting app.
You bet it is, Joe, and football is in the air, which means Bet Saracen has everything you're looking for and more right there on your cell phone.
Now everyone can get in the game and follow your favorite team.
And that's right on the money. If putting down a little wager makes your favorite game a little more exciting, well, go to the app stores and download Bet Saracen. We even got a demo video to show you how to play.
Or find it at BetSaracen.com.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Who's hungry, Fort Smith? Larry Rath here from Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center. And this month, I'm serving up heaping helpings of deals on Rath road-ready vehicles, each one hand-picked and inspected in our Meineke Car Care Center. So right now, you could save up to $4,500 on a nicer, newer car, based on the price of the car you choose. It's our feast of savings, and these deals are all gravy, so if you're sick of your old ride, toss it like yesterday's leftovers. Come in today, and you can save up to $4,500. Keeping the car you have? Get it ready for winter in our Meineke Car Care Center with a free winter-ready inspection, half-off brakes, and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. So pull up a chair at my feast of savings, and you can save up to $4,500 on a nicer, newer car. But hurry! A deal this hot will cool down fast. Only in Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online, rathauto.com.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Drs. Sparkman, Nanda, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
This is Mark with W&W Automotive. Before you hit the holiday road, drop by and let us check your antifreeze. We'll also take a look at your battery, your hoses, belts, things like that. If it's been a while since your last oil change, well, we can take care of that too. We service all makes and models, foreign and domestic. We offer front-end work and alignments also. Don't wait. Come see us just off of Towson on South O in Fort Smith. Call 242-1600. That's W&W Automotive, a bumper-to-bumper certified shop.
The holiday season is here. Road Chevrolet in Van Buren is rolling in new inventory, and we can't wait for you to come take a look. Over 40 new vehicles are on the way to our lot, ready to go home with you. Now through December 31st, customers who purchase any new or pre-owned vehicle will receive a $500 gift card just in time for Christmas. Buy now and make no payments until 2023. Receive up to a 120-day payment deferral for well-qualified buyers. Visit Road Chevrolet Van Buren, 2800 Alma Highway. Prices you'll love, people you can trust. See dealer for details.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
She didn't care, but anyway, I told her we'd still be friends, and she didn't care, but anyway, I tried last week for to call her, she wasn't home, but anyway, I think I'll spend my life, but Lord, I really don't care right now. But anyway, the state of affairs and the state of emotion, the kind of thing that you must understand. I'll tell you one thing, you tell me another, we walk away, maybe then shake hands.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
7 o'clock tip-off, Bud Walton Arena. The number 11 Razorbacks against the Troy Trojans. Hogs actually are tied with Alabama in the AP poll at number 11, so they slipped 2 spots after a 2-1 trip to Maui. Let's get a look at Troy. 6 wins, 1 loss. I don't know, most of the teams that they've played here outside of Florida State and Montana. I don't know what MSW is. I don't know what Montevallo is. Montevallo, that's what that is. They played Montevallo to open the season. I think that's a Division II school. Merrimack lost to St. Thomas program that I think recently, a couple years ago, turned into Division I. And who is this team that they just come up? They beat Southern New Orleans, put up 118 points against Southern New Orleans. So my Bet Saracen app shows Arkansas a 19.5-point favorite, and I might think about taking that. We'll see, though. Good thing, though, we heard Nick Smith is practicing now. Musk got into that, I think it was yesterday in his press conference. So there's a chance you may see him play tonight. I know he said, we just gotta wait to get him cleared to play. But he didn't rule out the possibility of Nick Smith being on the court tonight against Troy. It would make it a little bit of it's more exciting Monday night basketball game.
Well, it would be awesome. He'd get to play a little bit. You don't expect too much at, and like he gets to. It's not really like an important game. We should be able to win this game, and then we don't play again until Friday, Phil. So it'd be good to get him some game reps, and then you get a couple days off to see how that knee goes. It might be something where I don't know if he can play. I guess you don't play back-to-backs in the SEC, but he might need an extra day rest. I don't know, but you definitely want him out there.
And then San Jose State on Saturday. Next week you get UNC Greensboro and then a test against Oklahoma at the BOK Center Saturday the 10th. The women's team, I might have enjoyed being in St. Thomas a little more than in Columbia, Missouri for obvious reasons and the outcome too. The women's team, I think they have the best record in women's college basketball right now. Not just that they're undefeated, but they have 8 wins. I don't think there is another 8-0 team in women's college basketball. And, beat Northern Arizona by 9, take care of Clemson by 14. And then, Kansas State's a good team. Beat them 69-53. This team is so tough to score against. Both these teams, the men and the women. I haven't printed out my men's stat page, so I don't know what it is. But the women's team is holding opponents to 33% shooting in 8 games. Doesn't feel like that's any sort of anomaly after 8 games. And no one scored more than 73 against them. And usually teams are having trouble even getting to 65 against Arkansas's women's team. And they don't play. Hey, you get Troy twice this week. Tonight, the men, Thursday, the women. And, that's tremendous to see. Aaron Barnum is playing great basketball. That knee that caused her to miss a good chunk of the season and then basically was just recovering from the knee injury even when she was on the court for the last couple of months. She's healthy. She has Matt, you need to watch the women's team because Aaron Barnum I've seen Mike Neighbors refer to it in this way too, so I feel comfortable saying it. She's got the old man moves. You know what I mean?
At the Y, you go in there and the 24-year-old guy or the 38-year-old guy that's beating up on all the little kids that don't know the moves yet. Yeah.
Well, I mean, she's also she's terrific at getting the ball, either top of the key or just at the foul line and finding or creating enough room to drive, and has a spin move as well. But she's got, what it is, the little. I
love it. Yeah.
The little shoulder dip,
she's like a wily veteran, huh?
Yeah. It was like it's like playing against your dad, but she's a 6'4" woman instead. Who can shoot it from the outside as well. Did you ever beat your dad in basketball one-on-one, Matt?
The last time he played me, I was in 7th grade, and he could have still, but he said nope, that was it. He knew that I was getting better, but that was the last time we played. No, it couldn't. He was too strong. And then when I finally started getting fast enough where I could drive by him, he was like, I can't. I got to go over here. Keep working on your game. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it's not how well you play; it's who you schedule.
There you go.
Your dad knew to stop scheduling you. Calvert asked about the Las Vegas Invitational Women's Basketball Tournament. I didn't see this, but I read about it. They actually had to apologize, I think, at least to the Indiana women's basketball team because. Again, I didn't see it. I read about it. And I've been to. That's one of the things about some of these Thanksgiving tournaments. You're not always. Hey. Most of the time, you're not playing in a real college basketball venue. In some cases, like that gym, the Lahaina Civic Center, is practically Madison Square Garden compared to some. Well, I mean, I'm saying it's like it's like an NBA arena compared to some of the other setups you get in Thanksgiving, where you're pretty much playing in a ballroom, with a real low hanging ceiling, and there's no scoreboard, and they just keep the score at the table with a little flip card on the other side. Like I've seen them do this before in the Bahamas. Like, all right, so I guess we're getting the old fashioned circle clock going again. But I think they didn't even have stands set up for those games. At least most of these other ones have stands set up. When you watch these tournaments in the Bahamas or just think of some of the other, locales. So many of them are played in the Bahamas or Cancun, something like that. They at least have some rudimentary stands set up behind everybody.
I saw the deal. Matty T, I think, was talking about that, the greatest concert that never happened when they were trying to have it over in the Bahamas. I saw how they tried to
the Fire Fest?
The Fire Fest. Yeah, if it's anything like that, then I get you flipping the scorecards over.
There was a bit that it felt to me like I read about the World Cup. That's got a little Fire Fest out.
Man, it's wild. It's wild on the frontier.
Well, you get. It's like from this women's invitational tournament. You're told by the tournament committee that we're going to set this thing up just like a women's pro circuit, and we'll have this for you, that for you, and everything, and you show up and it's not what they told you it was. And this is what's happened to some people that have traveled the globe to go to Qatar for the World Cup, where they don't have the accommodations were not finished. Like the hotels in some of the cases, the brand new hotels and accommodations weren't finished. They weren't there. This is exactly what happened for Fire Fest. I guess for Fire Fest,
same thing.
Like they weren't ever really going to do it anyway. But that from what I read about that tournament, it was an awful disaster, and I'm glad Arkansas didn't go to that. But I remember going with Arkansas women's basketball to, what do they call it, South Point Arena, which is in Las Vegas, and they don't do a lot of basketball there. Like you play, I think this thing was set up at Caesar's Palace or one of the big casinos, one of the big casino hotels. This South Point thing was just it really felt like it was there for cows. It felt like it was, to auction off cattle. Because look, it doesn't smell like that at basketball games most of the time, but it did in that place. And I don't think they played many of the basketball games outside of like the 6 that they scheduled that week. Like Thanksgiving is the time of the year where I guess you can play a basketball game anywhere, literally anywhere. And the NCAA might give you a little wink, wink, nod, nod and say, yeah, you can play that there, but we're not going to have the other games played at places like this. It makes the Lahaina Civic Center look like the Boston Garden, and it makes Bud Walton Arena look like Wembley Stadium.
Well, they appreciate it there too. I guess other places, I don't know. They know the tournament's coming in.
I don't know where they're going next year or the year after that, but it's a good bet that they won't be visiting whatever this thing was in Las Vegas.
You're just supposed to be sleeping on hammocks out there anyways, right? In St. Thomas, don't you just get like a little hut and you're just in a hammock and they bring you a pina colada every once in a while and you go eat a fish and it's like, hey, go play some beach volleyball. Oh, they're on there for business. It's not vacation. Okay, yeah.
That's what the radio announcers do when they're out there. Like, we literally have nothing else to do. Like, we're go to practice. What are you
go play basketball in the pool? Go play basketball in the pool, drink a pina colada, then go play a beach volleyball. Then you could go out and go eat. And it's like, it's a beautiful day.
Well, it looked like the ladies had a lot of fun, and they went 3-0. So there's fun to go 3-0. There's fun to go 0-3. 3-0 is a lot more fun.
That's right.
So I'm really glad that they continue to play as well as they are. 877-377-6963. Taking your thoughts on Arkansas football. What do you think? Is 6-6 acceptable after a 9-4 season? 3-5 in the conference after 4-4 last year. I tell you, part of it is the curse of a hot start and reading all of the gushing columns. And, hey, we're part of it too, on this very radio station. When Arkansas was ranked 10th and we were pushing the hype as well, but one of the things I think to maybe take a lesson from this football season, you could even take it from last year as well. September, that's a mirage. September is not what your season is made upon. So we're going to have to tamp down the hype and the excitement after Arkansas starts 3-0 or 4-0 next year. We'll wrap up hour number 2 after this.
Video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports, contests, and events with first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports information, from live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to join today and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50 to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's BELIEVE, BLEAV 50. That's BELIEVE, BLEAV 50. Bet online, where the game starts.
Ed Sheeran used to sing in the church choir, but now bad habits reveal his desire. The old saying goes, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. God knows you can't overcome. That's why the faith that saves is trusting what Jesus has already done. There's nothing else you can say or use or do. Bad habits lead to doom. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Sometimes wounds just don't heal, and when they don't, reach out to the Tulsa Wound Center. They provide chronic wound care using all the latest technologies such as hyperbaric oxygen therapy, shockwave therapy, skin substitutes, and more. When it comes to life and limb, experience matters. Make sure you are being seen and treated by an experienced and certified wound physician. Founder and medical director Dr. Lam Lee has been a prominent wound care and hyperbaric physician for over 15 years. 10,000 patients can't be wrong. Online at TulsaWoundCenter.com or call 918-561-6661.
Searching for the best UTV on the market but can't find it with any of the big name brands? That's where the Intimidator comes in. An American brand using American-made steel and built in Arkansas. Intimidator UTVs offer premium components as standard, unlike those other companies. Items such as doors, skid plates, heavy-duty frames, and comfortable seating. All at
State sales tax paid on every pre-owned vehicle on the lot, now through the end of the month at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. You heard right. State sales tax paid on pre-owned vehicles at Harry Robinson. You'll save hundreds, even thousands, with sales tax paid. This sale does not apply to previously negotiated deals. Don't miss your chance to get your state sales tax paid now through the end of the month on every pre-owned vehicle on the lot. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 at Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
I know we're all sort of expecting Hugh Freeze to take this Auburn job any moment, but nothing's been reported yet. Lane Kiffin told him to go kick rocks. Sounds like they would have liked Lane Kiffin. He said no. When is someone going to take the chance and hire Dion?
Well, yeah, I think Dion would be a great pick for it. I've said that for a while. I mean, just to compete with Alabama and Georgia, those kids, and as a former player. That resonates. That goes a long way. You know, I love the fact that Coach Nutt was a former player. I love the fact that Jack Del Rio was a former player. Now, it doesn't always mean success or whatever, but there's just a way that you communicate. It just seems like you're just a easier way to communicate. I don't know how to explain it. It's just innate and almost a just natural ability to relay messages back and forth.
Well, it sounds like, Matt, there's also a backlash from the Auburn people about Freeze. You know, I mean, they're going to act a little holier than thou, I guess, about some of the stuff that Freeze got in trouble with, and I can understand why some might feel about that. You know, I mean, they do employ Bruce Pearl, but I don't think Bruce Pearl was setting up. They call them escorts. Some call them ladies of the night. Others use the term hooker. And using university cell phones.
Gypsy
there you go.
Yeah.
There's a good one for you. I don't know if Bruce Pearl was utilizing the university cell phone for that. But, you know, Freeze said he changed his life and he's on the up and up and everything. And I don't know. But it does sound like there's a bit of a backlash from Auburn. But I think they'd have a backlash to anybody. Literally anybody at Auburn is going to be a backlash.
What are you trying to do there? What are you trying to do at Auburn? What do you think their goal is? I mean, is their goal to compete? Is their goal just to get 9 wins a year? You know, what are they? They want to win a national title every 20 years? Is that about what they do when they won one in the 90s? And then I know they won one with Jason Campbell. Did they win another one? Have they won 3? They won one with Cam Newton.
Well, they played for 2 and won 1 within the last 12 years.
When I was there, they got they had a shared title. It's still the BCS. They went undefeated and shared a title with some. I mean, I don't know. If you go undefeated in SEC, you're national. That's why I guess we have what we have now.
Well, that's why some of those things
but
change.
That man, Carlos Dansby, Carlos Rogers, Jason Campbell, Brandon Jacobs, Ronnie Brown, Cadillac Williams. I mean, they were loaded.
Had a couple of texts say that Colorado offered Deion Sanders their head coaching job. Colorado's
Auburn
got
makes
a natty.
more sense.
Auburn makes a heck of a lot more sense than Colorado. You don't even know what the league that they play in is going to be looking like, but I guess it will still have some access to the college football playoff, I guess. I don't know. I mean, if you're looking to make a splash, like Deion has made his splash at Jackson State. And I guess I'd be surprised if he were to take the Colorado job. Doesn't feel like that's – look, it's Power 5. I don't mean to, poo-poo it. And
it's a great job, yeah.
Conference they play in and everything, it just – I don't know. It just feels like there might be other opportunities that could be better. See the text in from Chris in Greenwood. Screwed in the home game against Auburn. He's talking when you were quarterback. You got screwed at Auburn, Matt?
We had 1 year where we were really, really good. George Wilson got a phantom hold call on it was a touchdown run that got called back, and then you had the Florida game after that. Back-to-back hard losses that were tough. But that is talented. That was a talented group of team. Yeah, I mean, it's a weird call. I think that ref was point shaving. That's for sure.
We might say the same thing about the previous time Arkansas had visited Auburn. But, appreciate that text, though, Chris. 877-377-6963. Stacy reminds me that South Point, that was Las Vegas. South Point was the name of that arena where the women's team played. I guess that was in 2014. I think that was November 2014. It was a rodeo arena, a real rodeo arena. And now that I remember, the stands, you could tell because there was a wall between the stands and the floor that made it feel like a hockey arena, but it was a lot smaller than you could fit a hockey rink on there.
That's funny.
Yeah, you don't play in rodeo arenas too often, but I've been in a couple of others. I forget the name of the place. It was like next door to the old Astrodome in Houston. I remember doing a game there, and it's just like, a basketball arena shouldn't smell like a bathroom that hadn't been cleaned in weeks.
Yeah, I just wonder how they get that floor. You got that arena there. What the quality to make sure everything's okay. But what was the big thing in the Boston Garden? There was a couple dead spots, and if you knew where they were, you get them to it, and then home
Boston
field
Garden. Yeah, it didn't. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the locker rooms did smell like that. Hey, I worked at a baseball park in Little Rock, old Ray Winder Field, that smelled like cat urine.
You can't bake enough popcorn. Can't pop enough popcorn around there to get the smell going.
Well,
can't play Phil Collins enough.
Smells mix. They mix and blend together every once in a while. And I don't know. There's not a flavor of popcorn that mixes with that smell very well. You can't. Yeah, maybe some stale beer that would mix pretty well with it, but not what they had going at that moment. Yeah. And Bud Walton Arena smells much better than the South Point Arena smelled. It was pretty brutal. Pretty brutal. I'd rather play in a ballroom. It's so weird. Like you walk, like a basketball arena usually doesn't have a carpeted floor. For everybody to stand around. Feels a little different.
Played in a church gym that had a carpet floor. Yeah.
I played in a church gym that was also the cafeteria.
Right.
And it didn't have the wooden floor. It had, I don't know what that material is. It looked like
a
tile.
Rubber tile. Yeah, like a rubber, easy to clean rubber tile. Yeah. You just fold the tables up and push them to the side and let's get it on. Yeah.
Weren't those the best of the old quote unquote gyms to play in? Where there was also, it wasn't just the basketball court. It's also the cafeteria and the stage. Right there.
For productions, anything that's going on, that's where you go. Yep.
So they called it a multi-purpose room for a reason. Yeah. Multiple ways to break your face playing basketball on a floor like that. All right. End of the third hour of halftime. Conor O'Gara from Saturday Down South is coming up in about 20 minutes. And, hey, which outcome was more surprising to you? South Carolina beating Clemson, A&M beating LSU, or maybe just the fact that Michigan destroyed Ohio State in that second half? We'll get into that next on halftime.
When you need a plumber, call the name you know and trust, Ashley Air. The same great people that take care of your heating and cooling system can also meet your plumbing needs. Right now, take $50 off any plumbing repair or get a $129 drain cleaning plus a 2-year parts and labor warranty. Restrictions apply. If you have clogged drains, Ashley Air is the one to call. Go to AshleyAir.com to schedule your plumbing service. That's AshleyAir.com. Proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics.
Frank Rowe Furniture is your family-owned furniture, appliance, and electronics store. We have been servicing the area for 38 years with quality products and service after the sale. Frank Rowe Furniture offers a no-pressure sales atmosphere where you can actually enjoy shopping for your furniture. We also offer in-store, no-credit check financing. Don't wait weeks to be able to take your furniture you purchase home. Stop by and we will load you up today. Family-owned, service after the sale, and no-credit check financing. Frank Rowe Furniture, 405 4th Street, Marlin, Arkansas. Best seats in the house.
Have a loan with a variable to balloon rate? That might be a problem if it's due to reprice soon. Let Farm Credit fix your problem with a long-term fixed interest rate loan. Farm Credit's terms are the longest in the ag industry, ensuring you'll have peace of mind for years to come. At Farm Credit, you have nothing to lose. When rates begin to drop, you can easily readjust your rate again with no refinancing application, no new appraisals, no new title work. We make it simple. Find a Farm Credit office near you at myaglender.com. Equal housing lender.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hell is a big enough problem on its own. Good Thing Dent Source LLC is on the job, specializing in auto hail repair from personal vehicles to large fleet. Dent Source LLC makes customers smile, one vehicle at a time. High insurance deductible? No problem. Dent Source LLC will pay your deductible. Need a loaner vehicle during repair? No problem. Dent Source LLC has free loaner vehicles. Stop by 2820 South Zero Street, across from Play It Again Sports, or call 479-337-4443. That's 479-337-4443. Dent Source LLC. No problem.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, plenty of sunshine. Temperatures will be falling through the 50s. We'll end up with overnight lows in the upper 40s with a partly to mostly cloudy sky. Chance of a few showers, a few thunderstorms on Tuesday. Our high will be right around the mid-60s, and then we're expecting to see some drier weather on Wednesday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Tired of the ESPN broadcasters? Pause your TV and sync up the broadcast with Chuck and Quinn on hitthatline.com or your ESPN Arkansas radio station.
From the Bushlight Studios, this is ESPN 95.3.
For this town is a pigskin paradise.
KERX, Paris, Fort Smith.
Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you.
Live from the Bushlight Studios.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Matt Jones may take it to the house and the dunk.
You said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Produced by Matt Travis.
Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! I'm putting my heart, dog. Let's go, man!
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
Do we believe?
Second half, very happy.
Is vintage Matt Jones.
Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! 1, 2, 3! 1, 2, 3! Turn that damn beautiful! Hey!
Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
I'd forgotten that this is really, now this is the start of Coach Plane tracking season. I see on the Twitter there are people tracking an Auburn airplane. And it might have landed in Charlottesville, Virginia. People are thinking that there's a plane on its way from Auburn up towards Pennsylvania, maybe. Who knows? James Franklin, could he be a candidate at Auburn?
I wouldn't. I'm not leaving Penn State to go to Auburn. Penn State's that's a blue blood. I'd go to Penn State all day. I mean, there's multiple SEC jobs I wouldn't leave Penn State for. I mean, Penn State's that's a great job.
That would be one of them. It's funny too. I mean, you see some Auburn fans throwing names around like David Shaw. Oh, wow. I mean, he just gave up at Stanford. Their team was terrible 2 years in a row. That's not somebody that's at Auburn is going to be looking to get over there. Hey, Michigan. How about Michigan? How about this J.J. McCarthy in this Michigan passing game? 3 big plays. Opened things up, softened up the middle, and then Donovan Edwards with the 2 lengthy touchdown runs. And
man, that was football 101, Phil. Like, if you can do it, they ran the ball, and then when they'd come up, they go over the top of them. It was beautiful to watch, man. That was they put up a film study on that, on how to call a game right there.
We didn't think there weren't many that thought that Michigan would have all chance to slow down the Ohio State offense as well as they did, holding to 3 points in the second half. And without Blake Corum, they'd be able to consistently move the ball. And it took a little bit of time. It did. It took a little bit of time. But McCarthy was accurate on those in the deep passing game.
That safety comes up, and you're able to do that and get those big long. I mean, Phil, that hurts a defense right there. You're talking about bend, don't break. I mean, that just kind of that'll crush you.
Now they're not looking for a quarterback because Michigan knows who their quarterback's going to be.
Their backup just entered the portal. I don't know how good he is. Yeah,
well, he's really good. I mean, he took him to the college football playoff last year.
Yeah,
and they're going to be back in it with a different quarterback that took over early in the season. You remember early in the season, we were sort of joking and wondering about, well, Remember Harbaugh said he was going to give each of them a start early in the season and then go from there. And, I mean, it looks like he made the right choice, and now, you end up with Cade McNamara in the transfer portal as a graduate. So, I mean, who knows where he's going to end up. If you're Arkansas, like, we're out of all the players that could announce something this week, the one that we're all waiting on, top of the list, is KJ Jefferson. I saw, what did I see?
But he wouldn't be
Sanders.
transfer portal. He would be NFL draft is what you're thinking, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And then it's like, well, we can say all these things that Arkansas needs to get in the transfer portal, maybe a couple of defensive tackles, maybe an offensive tackle or two, wide receiver probably you'll need in the portal. It'll be interesting to see what happens at tight end, because you have 3 top-notch tight ends coming in the freshman class. But, if Trey Knox leaves, which I think a lot of us expect he might, then, I mean, you're going to have any sort of veteran at all at that position. So maybe tight end. But with all that said, Matt, like, we got to hear something from KJ Jefferson as to his plans moving forward, too. The coaching staff does. That's got to be one of the most important conversations Sam Pittman is having early this week.
Yeah, I'd be reaching out and giving him all the information he needs. If people are close to KJ and people love him and somebody's telling him the right thing to do, and he's listening, then you stay at Arkansas. He's not good enough yet to go lead an NFL franchise. Stay here and get better. That's there's no question about it. He's not even close. I mean, you talk about his mid-range passing and all the things he needs to work on. Let's work here and get better. Why not? You get game reps. You're your QB number 1. You're going to get every single rep that you want and get better for the next 9 months, and then we can talk about going. But I think this year, if you go, you're not going to get drafted as high as you think you're going to get drafted. You're going to be sitting around watching somebody else get all the reps, and you're not going to be getting any better. So I don't know I don't know who tells them what, but I'd be coming back to Arkansas for another year.
Colin in Glenwood wants to hear from Jalen Catalon and hopes he stays another year. That's another one that we'll be waiting to hear about. I wonder about Bryce Stevens. Stevens looked miserable for chunks of the Missouri game. Like, he was sitting on the bench by himself, looked really frustrated. Still got out there to handle punts, but just didn't look like he was all that happy or, truthfully, very engaged in important moments of the game, sitting by himself on the bench. That's another guy I'd be looking at as well, because he showed some flashes this year, but didn't finish incredibly strongly. Robert in Fort Smith has given us a call on halftime. The number's 877-377-69, and he hung up. So that's twice Robert has called us and then hung up. You pranking us, Robert? I don't think he is. Kiero Small, new strength coach since he's at Michigan, so that's one of the things here. Like, I would expect. What did I read? Like, Luke Fickell is going to be Wisconsin's next head coach, but Fickell was approached by Notre Dame last year, but he said I can't talk about another job while I'm coaching my team to get ready for the playoffs. So they ended up going with Marcus Freeman, and it seems to work fairly well for them. Like, Kiero Small has something right in front of them that, they got a Big Ten championship. They've got the whatever. They're going to be a playoff team. So I do wonder if I understand. I mean, he's got the ties here, and what do we like to say? Blood is thicker than water. I do wonder if he's just going to be focusing on the team that he's coaching right now.
Yeah, focus on what's in front of you, and he's been doing good work, and that's awesome that Arkansas would be looking at him if they are. But you want people that want to be here. I mean, and I think if these coaches feel that it's hard to kind of get certain guys away from certain coaches. They build a relationship with them. You don't know how it is there. Now he might be a Jimmy Harbaugh guy for the next decade. You don't know. Like, once they get in, he don't want to lose them. There's a lot of that going on. And you see head coaches, they kind of get their core group, whether it's a position coach or a strength and conditioning coach or a trainer, and they kind of go with them everywhere they go. But that is very cool. And just like we were talking earlier with some of the other guys, you want people coming in that want to be here, people that want to be an Arkansas Razorback.
Well, for what you're saying about, like, certain coaches have their guys that are their guys, I thought that Jamil Walker was a Sam Pittman guy. I mean, he brought him over from Georgia and sang his praises.
Yeah.
For the last 2 off seasons. We'd heard a lot about, this is anytime you hear the word culture thrown around, they're going to refer to the strength and conditioning coach. And I don't know if, I don't think Sam Pittman actually uses that word culture all that often, but he did sing Walker's praises more than once. And if I remember correctly, got him a raise. So, and now, after a month where the Razorbacks were pushed around and you're questioning some of the strength and maybe some of the conditioning, well, now he's the first guy gone. And
I'd question some of the talent too. We look around and this talent that's out there, and I'm not picking on these kids, but it's just I'd question how good are these kids. They're not. I didn't see a lot of Sunday talent when I'm watching the Arkansas Razorbacks this year. You had a kid on defense in Sanders that's going to play on Sunday that's ready, but there wasn't a lot out there that you're like, oh yeah, this jumped off the page. You'll have some kids that can bounce around a little bit or try to do it, but there wasn't a lot out there. So you kind of got to, how good were we really? How good is this team?
And interestingly enough, when we're seeing, Traylon Burks is now doing Traylon Burks.
That's Sunday talent, right? Everybody can see that. You know what I mean? Like everybody sees him play last year and goes, "That we know that guy's going to play on Sundays."
1 year ago, Traylon Burks was a main reason, if not the main reason, that Arkansas rolled against the University of Missouri. And a year later, he's making play after play.
That Ole Miss game, yeah.
2 weeks in a row
after
an injury in the NFL. And maybe that's part of
I think that's our biggest loss
that Arkansas was dealing with. When you look at the numbers offensively that don't quite add up, how many more touchdowns would Traylon Burks have led to for this Arkansas team? Probably a few more. 877-377-6963. Hey, the Bet Sarazen app is Arkansas's favorite sports betting app. You probably used it a lot over the last 5-6 days because we had ourselves tons of games to watch. Remember, we pay attention to the lines. The Las Vegas lines, those are just Las Vegas lines. You got to be in Vegas to bet them. Arkansas law prevents all the big national apps from operating inside our state borders. So if you want accurate, up-to-date sports wagering information, you got to have the Bet Sarazen app. And they've got it for Apple and for Google Play. Also, you can just use betsarazen.com in any web browser and take care of it right there. NFL, college football, NBA basketball, everything going on in sports at betsarazen.com or the Bet Sarazen app. Conor O'Gara from Saturday Down South coming up next on Halftime.
Listen to every Razorback basketball game right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
When you need a plumber, call the name you know and trust. Ashley Air. The same great people that take care of your heating and cooling system can also meet your plumbing needs. Right now, take $50 off any plumbing repair or get a $129 drain cleaning plus a 2-year parts and labor warranty. Restrictions apply. If you have clogged drains, Ashley Air is the one to call. Go to ashley.air.com to schedule your plumbing service. That's ashley.air.com. Proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics.
If you are looking for a tractor to fit your farm or property, from landscapers to ranchers, take a look at the all-new Bad Boy tractors, built tough to be a workhorse in the field. Bad Boy has a history of combining power, performance, and quality, and you will find that in every tractor they sell. See your local Bad Boy tractor dealer in Western Arkansas, Alma Tractor and Equipment in Alma, or visit almatractor.com.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
The holiday season is the perfect time to reflect on our blessings. Four Corks Wine and Spirits is thankful for you this holiday season. You're invited to browse around up front in the gift shop for that special someone. Choose from a wide variety of handcrafted wines from the elegant, climate-controlled wine cellar. From bourbons and whiskeys, craft beers, or some of the coldest imports in town, Four Corks Wine and Spirits has it all. 8000 South Zero Street, just past the intersection of Massard and Zero Street. Four Corks Wine and Spirits.
Arkansas Glass and Mirror Company has 2 locations, 1316 South Zero and 200 South Zero Street in Fort Smith, serving the glass and glazing needs of Fort Smith, Northwest Arkansas, and Eastern Oklahoma, commercial and residential. Tub and shower enclosures, mirrors, glass table, and countertops cut to custom size are just a few services offered by Arkansas Glass and Mirror Company. Arkansas Glass and Mirror stocks laminate glass, plexiglass, Lexan, window glass, and mirror and plate glass. For more information, call 646-4300. That's 646-4300.
Ocker Funeral Home knows that thinking about the inevitability of one's death is a subject that few like to consider. For many, actually moving ahead with their pre-planning or prepaying for their funeral is even more difficult to act on. With a large number of options available today, it's important to speak to someone you can trust. Ocker Funeral Homes in Van Buren, Alma, and Fort Smith, serving the community for over 100 years. Call 474-2523 for an appointment.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Drs. Sparkman, Nanda, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Conor O'Gara from Saturday Down South with us here on Halftime. Help us make sense of this football season for Arkansas. Conor, 6-6. It's kissing your sister. You realize I'm looking at the statistics. 12 games into the season. This is perfect for a 6-6 team. Arkansas has a 1-yard difference in yards allowed and yards gained for the entire season. The epitome of 6-6 would be almost having the exact same yardage for your team. But it's like if you would have been 6-6 last year, it would have been celebrated. It's not celebrated after 9 wins.
You know what? It's not, and you know, it's a tough year to kind of dissect because you could take bits and pieces of certain things and say, well, oh, that was a positive, and that shows you that Arkansas is on the up and up, and maybe just the simple fact that 6-6 is considered, I think, pretty disappointing is a sign of where this program is at. I mean, I had this team going 9-3, and I thought that they were going to be this number 2 team in the West, and instead, you know, they had issues throughout the entire year, and week to week, they were just a tough team to predict, man. Like, I would have said if you had a healthy Rocket and KJ, that in more weeks than not, you were going to be okay. But then we kind of see even against Mizzou, they can still struggle in these spots. And when you have a defense that's kind of a liability, not kind of a liability, it definitely was a liability, then you obviously are vulnerable and you play down to your competition a lot. I think Arkansas did that. And it's frustrating because you return both coordinators in year 3. You return one of the better starting quarterbacks in all of college football in KJ Jefferson. You hit in the transfer portal on 3 key additions, I think, Drew Sanders and Matt Landers and Jaden Hazelwood. And also you have this emerging star in Rocket Sanders who had the best season by an Arkansas running back, Darren McFadden. You look up and you're 6-6. I mean, that's bad, and that's the toughest part to swallow.
Yeah, it seemed like a lot of for show. Like when it got down to it, Arkansas never really made the plays. And what are your thoughts on the overall SEC? So you looking at the way they finished, only Alabama, they finished on a 3-game win streak, but everybody kind of limped in, even though it wasn't as top heavy this year, but we didn't have the strong finish that we thought the SEC was going to happen with Tennessee. And then on the other spectrum, the other side, South Carolina. I mean, you saw them early in the year and able to beat Clemson in their last game of the year.
Yeah, this was such a week-to-week year in the SEC, and maybe you can say that in a lot of other instances, but man, just some random, hard-to-predict type results where if you kind of go back and like, well, that doesn't make any sense anymore. 2 weeks ago, South Carolina just got totally dominated by Florida in a game in which their only touchdown was a fake punt. I mean, that was it. And 2 weeks later, we're talking about them having consecutive wins against AP top 10 teams, something that even Shane Beamer's dad, Frank, never did in his illustrious career as a college football coach. And all of a sudden, you're just like, wow, South Carolina, I mean, look at them. And I think the herky-jerky nature of the SEC this year was really embodied by what we saw Saturday night at Kyle Field, an LSU team that had everything to play for, trying to keep playoff hopes alive. And what could they do in the SEC championship if they had 2 losses against this Georgia team instead an A&M team that had 4 wins, isn't playing for a bowl game, and we didn't even know if a lot of their best players were going to suit up. They come out and they blow the doors off them. So this year was just so difficult to predict, and maybe Arkansas is part of that and part of this unpredictable nature of the SEC, despite the fact that you look up and realize, all right, well, the defending national champs, Georgia Bulldogs, they're the lone SEC team left, in my opinion, that has a playoff path. And, if they won a national championship, it wouldn't be some unbelievable surprise. But it did feel like a very weird, random year for the most part in the SEC.
So is it safe to say, just to kind of get at one of the things you mentioned in there, just the craziness of this year, the West Division champion, and we all buy into the idea that the SEC West is, like the toughest division in all of college football. The SEC West champion has 3 losses, and yet they have no shot really to get into the championship, into the playoff. I guess there's still an opportunity for Alabama to get in there. But
nope.
We'll get to that in a moment. What makes Arkansas 6-6, 3-5 in the SEC any different than Florida or Missouri? I think Florida has expectations that are a lot higher because they're Florida. Mizzou was celebrating beating Arkansas with good reason. They go to a bowl game. Arkansas has too. But they have the exact same record. Is there any difference right now in these 3 programs?
There's difference because everything is relative to expectations. And it's totally different when you're the year 3 program that returns your starting quarterback and you return both coordinators for the 3rd consecutive year, as opposed to a place like Florida, which was 6-7 last year, lost to UCF in the bowl game. New regime comes in. We knew they were going to have depth issues. First-time starting quarterback in Anthony Richardson. But, you kind of look at Mizzou, and that's the frustrating thing, that even if you're just doing overall SEC standings this year, Mizzou would finish ahead of this Arkansas team, obviously, by having the head-to-head tiebreaker. And that to me is a really tough thing to accept if I'm an Arkansas fan, because this was a Mizzou team that, offensively, they were a disaster for most of the year. They really, really struggled, but defensively they stepped up, and they had a defensive line that was much improved, where Arkansas went in the total opposite direction on that side of the ball. And so, it kind of makes you wonder, all right, well, when you have a disappointing year like this, which Arkansas did, I think anybody can say that. I think Sam Pittman admitted so much. Staff changes are coming. that's the result of this. Sam Pittman's not going anywhere. We know that Hunter Yurachek is going to go to bat for his guy, obviously, and after the job that Pittman did rebuilding this program, I think that's safe to say. But I do think staff changes are coming, and we'll kind of wait and see the way that he is able to evaluate his coordinators, because for the first time since he's been at Arkansas, he doesn't just have to go to Hunter Yurachek and say, we need to extend Kendall Browse, we need to extend Barry Odom so that they don't leave for another Power 5 program.
Yeah, it seemed like a lot of quarterbacks had career days. Missouri quarterback had a good day. The Liberty third string quarterback has a good day against us. That Liberty loss was bad. The Auburn quarterback, their backup, it's like we made them world beaters. That being said, if you had to take one of these coordinators, which one would you say is more likely to stay, and which one would be more likely to go?
It's a great question. I've debated that. I said, I think if you just looked at it on the surface, you would say that Barry Odom's going to be gone, Kendall Browse will stay. But I think because of the loyalty that we've seen Sam Pittman show to Barry Odom and how willing he has been to empower him and make sure that he gets taken care of, his extensions, I think Odom stays and I think Browse goes. And I might be wrong about that. I'm not sitting here saying that that's ironclad or anything, but I think you can go in a different direction offensively. And while I do think Kendall Browse would probably still get a Power 5 offensive coordinator position if he's not retained by Sam Pittman, I think there's a market out there. And I think there's a lot of guys who would love to come into a situation like what Arkansas currently has with Sam Pittman, and a place where you can give that offensive coordinator autonomy. And that's a big, big deal. And you have a head coach who puts his ego aside, and he's going to take care of that offensive line, and you could be in a really favorable spot. And I just think the market for a potential Arkansas offensive coordinator would be really favorable, and I think that they could be doing some digging right now on some of the back channels to see where exactly they'd be able to go. And if they can, then I think we would see Kendall Browse let go.
And how much you think that might matter? Because I think KJ stays, and so it's like when you're out there looking at that, do you use that as a card, I guess, to get an offensive coordinator? Would you want to come in with that veteran quarterback that he can? I mean, next year he probably will be the best quarterback in the SEC. Top 3, but I think he should stay.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be a selling point. And look, in this era of NIL, I think it changes things, man. Like it's different than when you're playing, obviously, and you don't necessarily have those opportunities that are going to be available to you. Where if you're a big household name who returns and you've been a multi-year starter, you're going to get taken care of in the offseason, and you're going to get a good amount of money. Anthony Richardson was a first-time starter at Florida. He's already a millionaire, even though I think he kind of disappointed. So, if you're KJ, you can get taken care of really well. I think the scheme that he played in is a little bit unique, and the NFL market for him might not necessarily be at the level that he's hoping for just yet.
He's a third tier. Yeah, no, and I'm sorry, but he's a third. I was talking with Phil when I was there in Jacksonville. He'd be battling for the third string quarterback job right now. If that's where he was to go, he's just not ready yet. That doesn't mean he can't. It can't get there, but he's not ready.
Yeah, I agree. And I'd love to see KJ come back selfishly because I love watching him play. And the things that he does is special, and I think he could succeed outside of just that scheme. But I agree. I think there's more development that we need to see from him, and I think that right now he needs a little bit more time in college to be able to kind of fine-tune those skills.
Yeah, he could be all first world SEC All-American if he stays at Arkansas. That's for sure. Or he could go be hold the clipboard and just run the scout team for a couple years.
Well, it looks like he's also the only quarterback on the roster right now, too, because Malik Hornsby announced he's transferring on Instagram just a couple of minutes ago. I think I forgot about
We kind of knew that was going on, huh?
Yeah, you knew that was coming. That's not a surprise at all. Connor, SEC championship game. Like, Georgia's in to the playoff no matter what, and LSU blew their opportunity with – I can't believe that happened. But I guess I guess, you look at some of Brian Kelly's history that every once in a while a game like that goes down. Is there any – I could see the right LSU team showing up, the team that beat Alabama, the team that throttled Ole Miss. But you never know which LSU team is going to show up. Does it even matter very much Saturday against Georgia?
Yeah, I mean, the randomness of this year tells me, hey, Connor, don't be an idiot. Don't be so definitive and say that Georgia is absolutely going to dominate this game and win it by 5 touchdowns. because, as you mentioned, LSU has shown that upside. But if Jay Daniels isn't going to be playing, or if he's limited, which he got hurt on that 2-point conversion play, I don't know why Brian Kelly was going for 2, down 16 or whatever it was, or down 15 they were in that game, and go for 2. It was just a weird move. But yeah, if he's limited at all, no. I mean, I think Georgia wins that game, but I do think that Georgia last year having the SEC championship letdown that they did against Alabama kind of fuels this year and what Kirby Smart will be able to preach to his team after a 12-0 regular season again of how important this is. And they're still competing for that number 1 overall seed because Michigan, we'll wait and see how the rankings play out on Tuesday night. Michigan can still get that number 1 overall seed. And if Georgia gets number 1 overall seed, they just get to come back to Atlanta and they get to play there. So I think that would be really favorable for them. But yeah, I would probably say that right now, Georgia, with that defense, with how good they've looked for the majority of the year, they get up for these big-time games, man. And I would not want to be going against a group that disciplined.
Is Michigan, they got the best chance, I guess, to beat Georgia in the SEC, for the national title? Or they? Because I just think it's Georgia's to lose, but Michigan, when I watched them play against Ohio State, it just seemed like they were able to hit them right in the mouth.
Yeah, and they didn't even have Blake Corum really playing in that game, and he's their best player, which is kind of crazy to think about. Their stud tailback who, could really benefit from that extra time off that he's going to get in December, because I think Michigan already has a playoff berth locked up. But the difference this year between Michigan, and I was there last year in Miami for that game, and you're watching it going, man, Michigan doesn't have a chance out there. But they do have the 5-star quarterback now. They do have J.J. McCarthy out there, and you saw the way that he stretched the field against that Ohio State secondary. And that made a huge difference, I think. Jim Harbaugh deserves a lot of credit for pivoting from Cade McNamara and recognizing that J.J. McCarthy was going to be able to maximize their offensive potential. So that's kind of the little wrinkle in all of this, but I would still say Georgia's got the best path to win a national championship, and Michigan could be a team that pushes Georgia a little bit, but I would still say the Dogs be my pick.
That's funny, Jim Harbaugh taking the backup quarterback, because there was him and the 49ers doing that, and that's wild, yeah.
Conor,
yeah, and I think that.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I think that's Jim Harbaugh's his National Coach of the Year campaign it's off and running. There's a very good case to be made for it, and we'll see how that plays out this weekend.
Yeah. Now it's Ryan Day that has a Michigan problem, not Harbaugh that's got an Ohio State problem. Conor, appreciate you on these Mondays. Thank you. Have a great week.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, Conor.
You got it. That's Conor O'Gara, Saturday Down South. Hey, Christmas shopping season's upon you right now. Champion Cycling has 2 bicycles that we're giving away at ESPN Arkansas. One of them is an Alley road bike. The other is a 12-inch Specialized Rip Rock kids bike. So enter the Champion Cycling bike giveaway now through December the 18th at hitthatline.com. Free bike link, top of the page. Click it, enter, and it's as simple as that. Champion Cycling bike giveaway made possible by Champion Cycling in Fort Smith, 5500 Massard Road, and championcycling.com. We'll be right back.
Home is everything. It's your sanctuary, your command center, your music room, and your art studio. It's where you eat family dinners and make lasting memories. When you use a Weichert agent to help you find your home, we'll help you find the space to make it yours. When you begin your search, know that a Weichert agent will be there with you every step of the way. Because at Weichert Realtors, we guide you home. To get started, call your local Weichert agent and look for our bright yellow signs all over town. At Weichert Realtors, we sell more because we do more. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
The new Lotto game from the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery is creating new traditions for our players, like Vic from Texarkana.
For Lotto, I always play multiples of 7. It ain't math. That's just how many times I've been kicked by a horse. How's that lucky, you say? Well, I'm still here, ain't I?
Your numbers, your game. Play Lotto every Wednesday and Saturday for your chance to match 6 and get rich. Only $2 per play. Call or text 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
Lucky number 7.
Up to $12,000 off on premium pre-owned vehicles at Harry Robinson's Salisal Ford. The biggest savings are right on the front row. The manager specials, huge variety, great selection, and even bigger savings with up to $12,000 off. Most of these vehicles still have factory warranty remaining, so you can buy with confidence. And nobody will pay more for your trade than Harry Robinson. Up to $12,000 off on pre-owned vehicles. Harry Robinson's Salisal Ford. 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisal.
Chuck Barrett here. I know a thing or two about making great calls in Arkansas. And when it comes to your home service needs, make the call to Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. Paschal offers plumbing services from simple drain repairs to running all new lines. And right now, you can replace your water heater with a professionally installed system from Paschal. Take $150 off a new traditional water heater or $300 off a tankless system. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. Arkansas owned. Arkansas operated. Go Paschal.com.
When you need to customize your ride, whether for work or play, check out River Valley Truck Outfitters. Full line of LED lights for your headlights to work lights, B&W hitches, toolboxes, ladder racks for all your work needs or play, grill guards to full front bumper replacements, full line of WeatherTech and Husky floor mats. Let River Valley Truck Outfitters get your window tinting on. Best prices and quality in the Fort Smith area. River Valley Truck Outfitters can get your ride ready on Highway South 71 on top of Rye Hill. 648-8855. That's 648-8855.
Hardee's new Charbroiled Double Deals, starting at $2.99 each, have the Academy for New Offerings hailing this double cheeseburger deal as very new indeed. How much more new does it get than the new Bacon Double Cheeseburger and the new California Classic Double Cheeseburger? Not much newer than that. Well, I've got news for the Academy. After this, I'm getting myself a double cheeseburger from this new deal. The new Charbroiled Double Deal, starting at $2.99 each at Hardee's. Feed your happy. Tax not included for a limited time. Price and participation may vary. Visit restaurant or app for details.
Have you recently experienced possible hail damage to your roof? Is it just time to replace the one you currently have? Brothers Roofing and Restoration is a properly licensed and insured local roofing contractor in Arkansas. Brother Alexander has over 25 years of experience in home insurance and adjusting and residential roofing. Brothers Roofing Crew has 17 years of experience themselves. He provides free estimates with the most competitive pricing in the area while using the industry's best materials. So call 479-353-3877 to arrange a time for Brother to inspect your roof.
Hell is a big enough problem on its own. Good Thing Dent Source, LLC is on the job, specializing in auto hail repair from personal vehicles to large fleet. Dent Source, LLC makes customers smile, one vehicle at a time. High insurance deductible? No problem. Dent Source, LLC will pay your deductible. Need a loaner vehicle during repair? No problem. Dent Source, LLC has free loaner vehicles. Stop by 2820 South Zero Street, across from Play It Again Sports, or call 479-337-4443. That's 479-337-4443. Dent Source LLC. No problem.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
Back to halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Give them a call or send them a text at 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
An offensive coordinator opening at South Carolina. Marcus Satterfield's been hired at Nebraska. We do have an opening in this league for OC, at a place where you'll get autonomy. You don't have a head coach that's just watching over everything and calling the plays for you. So that'll be interesting. I mean, some people think that we got a text in thinking that Kendall Briles may be a possibility at Cincinnati as an offensive coordinator or a head coach. I don't think Kendall Briles will get a head coaching job this offseason. Maybe get some offers as an OC, but it would stand to me that you probably, if Sam Pittman wants to keep him, he'll stay here, and we may find something out sometime this week. I'm just kind of throwing that out. Mike in Fort Smith hopes KJ stays put. And we do know that Malik Hornsby is headed into the transfer portal. That is, I mean, I guess I'm surprised that didn't come out on Saturday, that Malik was going into the portal.
I'm telling you, I love the fact that he stayed up there and went up there with the team, and he knew he was going to leave, and he was the backup quarterback, and that Miles Sush, it's like I wouldn't, as far as a football coach, I mean, you make a commitment to the team, and you finish out the season, and if you're going to go, but We could have used him. You don't quit on the team right in the middle of the season.
That was weird seeing Slusher just gone for the week. Nothing reported until his Instagram post, and it turns out there was a meeting with him and Pittman Sunday, and he left the team, and Pittman said he quit, but did Sam also tell him, there isn't going to be a place for you once the season is over? Like, I don't know if you tell somebody that the week before the final game. That's what I mean. Like, that there should have been. Like, I would imagine you wanted him to come back. Sam did say it was a surprise, so then he didn't say that. He wouldn't have told him that there's no place for you. But I mean, this is part of the conversations that I think are being had today. However long these exit interviews last, if it's today, tomorrow, or Wednesday, it isn't just getting a sense from the kid whether he wants to stay here. I think it's a coach's opportunity to also tell the player that you might want to look somewhere else. It's a conversation that I hear about, in baseball all the time. It's just large rosters. They turn over like that.
Yeah, there is each year, Phil. There's at least 5 kids that you sign scholarships on that come up there, and you're like, you know what? These kids probably kind of missed on that one. That's just the nature of the game. And then there's a couple kids that are 3 stars that end up being your all conference guys that you don't know yet. But that's a tough conversation to have too, Phil. That's got to be tough.
Sasquatch texted in, says he's disappointed in the season because he feels the trajectory is downward. I think it's a little difficult to figure out what the team's going to look like next year. I've heard Matt, I heard a number of 25 players coming and going, and that was just somebody guessing. We don't know what this, and it isn't just this week, it's this month. We don't know what this is going to look like. And the trajectory of the program, that doesn't always tell you, what's going to happen next year, especially with the kind of roster turnover that we're seeing in college football that we've never seen before. And this is something that we just have to get used to. You can rebuild teams faster than you could previously. But what do you have to rebuild at Arkansas? I mean, you've got a good running back.
Some O-linemen. We're losing. We have 3 seniors right there anyway. But do we have some in the stable? Apparently we have a couple in the stable, though, that this haven't. I mean, were you playing your seniors because they're seniors, but the other guys, what is that deal that the last guy you said they were Chad Morse's O-linemen that were playing this year?
Marion Harris, Eli Henderson, I think, if I'm remembering his name properly. Tykees Crawford. I mean, Crawford got some playing time, and I mean, they said he was okay or was good enough. I kind of expected that Crawford, who's got that size, and they loved his ability to play all over the offensive line. Like, he's somebody that I think they want to start next year. I don't know what the situation would have been with Jalen St. John, because he was pretty highly touted when he signed at Arkansas, but I think it's pretty obvious moving forward he's not going to be part of the future. But you are rebuilding that O-line. You are, I think you're cycling in a whole new group of tight ends. You're going to need a possession receiver.
A big play receiver.
Comes back.
Why are we not going out there and looking at maybe that kid in Missouri, unless he wants to go play for a national title, if that's what he's trying to do. But go out there and be like, look, we got KJ Jefferson throwing you the ball. Like, see what he did with Traylon Burks. Like, go out and use that as a tool to go get him a stud out there, because – I mean, that's just me thinking out loud. That was our biggest loss was Traylon Burks from this team from last year to this year. So let's go out and try to find one of those.
Aaron in Clarksville, and I know I read a little bit about this, but I'd have to go back and look at these final scores. He says Arkansas holds the record for 1-score losses over a 3-year period. So not a lot of blowouts. But there are just tiny little things. One wrong play call, one pass that's off, one fumble at the goal line. Some of these things that make the difference in the win and the loss in a game that's decided by 2 points, by 3 points, by 6 points. And Arkansas was on the right side of that coin last year more often than not. This year, they were not on the right side of the coin. Luck was part of it last year. I think you got lucky beating Mississippi State last season. 3 missed field goals. That's the reason Arkansas won that game. So maybe luck is part of it, but I don't think luck has anything to do with the reason Arkansas lost to Missouri. I don't think luck had really much to do with the reason that Arkansas lost to LSU or Liberty. They were
There's
one
no
or two
excuse for
plays
that.
short so often.
That's you got it. That's your leaders right there. It is. I mean, losing to Liberty at home. That's still. You look at it now. I mean, it was bad at the moment. It's still. Let's quit talking about it.
It's bummer. It's a bummer.
It is.
But a happy birthday to Sam Pittman today, anyway, and to Philip Rice, one of our really good friends, the Cotter Warrior. I didn't realize that was your nickname, Philip. The Cotter Warrior. He's turning 46 today, and a very happy birthday. He took me and Drew on a guided, it wasn't a fishing tour, but he was our guide for a couple of hours on the White River.
Heck yeah.
That was a little more than a year ago when we went up there. And
did y'all catch anything?
Yeah, we caught things because we had Philip Rice with us. You don't not catch fish.
That's fun, isn't it?
Rice is guiding your boat. Yeah, he had a great time. Anybody else with a birthday today? Let us know, because Wesson Harrison texted us. It's his mom's birthday, too. This can be the birthday. We're not doing a daily birthday segment like some other shows. We're just for today, whatever birthday you got.
Well, my sister's birthday was yesterday, so happy birthday to my sisters.
It's also actor Ed Harris's birthday today, and any more celebrity actor Judd Nelson is celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday, Judd Nelson from The Breakfast Club. Who's your favorite celebrity?
Enemy at the Gates is my favorite Ed Harris movie.
TV personality Jon Stewart is the big 6-0 today. Happy birthday, Jon Stewart.
I'm just waiting to hear the happy birthday song by the Beatles now, Maddie. Since
I had to listen to that every day for about 6 years, so I think I had enough of that birthday song.
I know. That's why we don't.
I did do a show where they had a birthday segment every single day.
Every single day.
I think it's still going on, too.
I do love that song, though. I really do. You know what else I love? I tried it over the weekend. Used it as a mixer. Lark, the full spectrum seltzer brought to you by Ouachita Farms. It was good. No booze in Lark, but you can mix booze inside of it. There's no sugar, no carbs, no calories, and Lark tastes great with a right balance of hemp-derived THC and CBD. Tastes like strawberry guava, mango, grapefruit, and berry. You find Lark at your local adult beverage store, or you can just have it shipped to your doorstep. And to do that, visit larkhemp.com. That's larkhemp.com, because Santa's sleigh works better at higher altitude. Must be 21 years of age or older to consume Lark. Halftime wraps up after this.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Wow. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Who's hungry, Fort Smith? Larry Rath here from Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center. And this month, I'm serving up heaping helpings of deals on Rath road-ready vehicles, each one hand-picked and inspected in our Meineke Car Care Center. So right now, you could save up to $4,500 on a nicer, newer car, based on the price of the car you choose. It's our feast of savings, and these deals are all gravy, so if you're sick of your old ride, toss it like yesterday's leftovers. Come in today, and you can save up to $4,500. Keeping the car you have? Get it ready for winter in our Meineke Car Care Center with a free winter-ready inspection, half-off brakes, and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. So pull up a chair at my feast of savings, and you can save up to $4,500 on a nicer, newer car. But hurry, a deal this hot will cool down fast. Only in Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online, rathauto.com.
Flu season is here, and Law's Drug Store in Fort Smith has flu shots available now to safely care for you and your family. Law's Drug Store still has COVID vaccinations and boosters available for ages 5 and up, as well as shingles, pneumonia, and whooping cough vaccines. Call 452-6116 to schedule your flu or vaccine shot appointment, or stop by Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drug Store opens 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
What do you get when you pull into Tony's Tire Service? You get the best selection of tires for any car, truck, or commercial vehicle. Tony's Tire Service has Cooper tires and is ready to serve you to get you back on the road safely. They'll also get your vehicle fixed with brake replacements plus an alignment with the best repair guy in the area. Tony's Tire Service has been serving the River Valley for over 34 years. Come let our guys replace your tires with Cooper tires and our service department to make sure the vehicle has the best brakes and alignments. Tony's Tire Service, 7200 South 28th Street in Fort Smith. Service you can depend on.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Drs. Sparkman, Nanda, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Building a home can be stressful. This is true whether you're the homeowner or the contractor. Many times these issues result in a lawsuit. If you are a homeowner or a contractor and find yourself needing legal help, call the attorneys at Kevin Hickey Law Partner. With experience representing homeowners as well as non-payment or other issues that could arise during construction. Contact Brad Hull or Kevin Hickey at 479-434-2414 in the River Valley or 479-802-6560 in Northwest Arkansas. Or check them out on the web at artriallawyers.com.
Is your real estate investment portfolio performing the way it should? Do you have too many vacant days resulting in lost rent and higher costs? Those are the silent killer to your bottom line. Marshall's Management Group will keep your properties rented. And trust me, I know a thing or two about rentals. Marshall's Management Group understands these are not just buildings, it's your money. Start the new year with a new property manager. Locally owned Marshall's Management Group. 479-242-7081. That's 479-242-7081 or marshallsrentals.com.
State sales tax paid on every pre-owned vehicle on the lot now through the end of the month at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. You heard right. State sales tax paid on pre-owned vehicles at Harry Robinson. You'll save hundreds, even thousands with sales tax paid. This sale does not apply to previously negotiated deals. Don't miss your chance to get your state sales tax paid now through the end of the month on every pre-owned vehicle on the lot. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 at Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
All right, let's see. We got the Eastside Liquor Halftime Pops coming out within the next however long. We have Ruskin and Zach ready to go from 2 until 6:30. That's when Chuck and Matt Zimmerman take over on the Learfield pregame. Arkansas Troy, 7 o'clock tonight. And then we get back into regular programming with everything tomorrow here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. So we have made it through a 3-hour show today with only one Razorback announcing that he's hitting the transfer portal, at least up until now. It's just Malik Hornsby. And again, that felt like something everybody knew was going to happen anyway.
So that's probably another good sign that KJ's staying. You know, because if KJ's leaving, if he's gone, you know, wouldn't you think you could beat out K? Don't that be the battle, or who else is coming in? You know, I mean, we need to get another quarterback up there.
Well, Pittman set us up for the week, you know, by warning the media last Monday that you better get your sleep on Sunday. I mean, he told them
it's going down. Yeah,
get your sleep on Sunday, right? It's going down. Meet me in the hall. It's going down. All of those, and so far, there really hasn't been a lot going down. But the day is young, and we'll certainly be paying attention to everything that could go down. It doesn't look like Auburn's hired. Like we all expect all this happens like now, right? Oh, here's one thing I meant to get to this and never did. We did so much football throughout the show. This is going to be awesome. The ACC and SEC are forming a new basketball series, a challenge to start next year for both men's and women's basketball.
ACC and SEC?
The ACC, the SEC, and ESPN are getting into bed together with this ACC-SEC challenge, which means that the ACC is doing away with their deal with the Big Ten, and the SEC is doing away with the Big 12, which has been going on for, I think this will be the 10th year of the Big 12 SEC challenge. And those have been really good games, but man, I mean, I know the Big 12 has had like the recent champions. The ACC just seems to, I mean, that's going to be really exciting. We may see more Arkansas, North Carolina, Arkansas versus Duke.
That Purdue-Duke, Syracuse. I watched a little bit of that game. Man, that Syracuse zone used to be so fun to watch. Man, they'd be long. Oh, they were fun. They were a little different. Those UConn teams, now they're not there, but man, those UConn had some. When you think basketball, don't you think ACC first? Don't you kind of think that coast?
There's still part. Yeah, you're right. You are right. But there's still part of me that still thinks of 1980s Big East, just because that's what I grew up with.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
A lot different now. Hey, that could actually lead to, although like you got to slot the programs that are about on the same level with each other. So I don't see Arkansas playing Pitt anytime soon. That would be – now I called an Arkansas versus Pitt women's basketball game, and I didn't grow up like rooting for Pitt's women's basketball team on as close of a basis as I did their men's team. That would be pretty cool if I saw Arkansas versus Pitt, which, by the way, wouldn't go very well for the Panthers this year or the year before or the year before. But I love getting this. So this will be our last time ever with a guaranteed Big 12 opponent on an annual basis. And now we've got this series with Oklahoma, but that's turning into a conference game soon. And by the way, I do think Arkansas-Oklahoma is going to be the bowl game that we watch. I don't know if it'll be in Memphis or if it'll be in Texas or the Texas Bowl, but I'm pretty positive those are the two bowl games that are possibilities. And I think it's going to be Arkansas versus Oklahoma, which should be pretty cool for our listening area because we got Oklahoma listeners too.
Oklahoma's a blue blood. That's a real. I mean, that's when we talk about the name on the front of the jersey. I mean, that's you think college. And when we're talking about ACC basketball, when you think college football, OU is one of the first 10 teams. When you're talking about college, you bring them up.
No doubt. And that was the first time I ever was conscious of a place called Arkansas. Was in a football game against Oklahoma, 87 Orange Bowl. Attended at the age of 9, and it was so ugly that we left at halftime. But I do remember hearing those fans down on the first level doing that really weird-sounding cheer, which now I hear every day of my life, and I love everything about it. So that would be kind of, I don't know, a little nostalgic too. It would be nostalgic, to play OU in a bowl game. And then you're going to get used to playing them, I think, on an annual basis.
Yeah, and what you're talking about, I think it's good for recruiting. It's a matchup. I would still, that Baylor I think would be fun too, but OU either in Texas or in Memphis, I mean, that's something everybody, I think you get the fans there if that's what you're trying to do, and even though we don't know what we are.
I will say this, and I didn't ask this question today, but I definitely want to know your thoughts about it, and we'll get into that a lot tomorrow. Do you care about the bowl game? 1 iota. That's a legitimate question for, I think, a lot of people who are already moved on to basketball season. All right, for Matt Jones, for Matt Travis, this is Phil Elson. Have a great rest of your Monday. Get up, get out, and get better.